And all because of Hoppy's alert observation and some silver dollars.
It's an adventure we call Gambler's Luck, and it began with a cattle drive. This particular drive was one of the roughest and toughest we were ever on, but right up till almost the last, one of the nicest. It was fun because we were on an errand of mercy, you might say. Our destination was the Horseshoe Outfit near the headwaters of the Teton. The Horseshoe was owned by Ham Irish and his sister Emma. Ham and Emma were old friends of ours, but we hadn't seen them in years.
I wouldn't miss this for nothing, Hoppy. When we show up with all this beef stuff, the look on Ham and Emma's faces is going to be a sight to behold.
Yeah, likely is, California. But when I see them, they're going to get a piece of my mind.
You ain't mad at them, are you?
Why shouldn't I be? When they got in trouble, why didn't they tell us? If friends can't help when help's needed, what do they think friends are for?
Oh, for a second there, I thought you was serious.
Well, I am, kind of. If it hadn't been for Slim Gillian, I wouldn't have known about this at all.
Slim worked up this way last year, didn't he?
Yeah, last couple of years. Said last year's die-up after the freeze was almost the worst anyone could remember, though. Dead cows were lined up for miles.
Anybody else hit it as bad as Ham and Emma was?
No, I doubt it. They lost every cow they had. They'll have to use this bunch as a starter herd and wait a couple of years before paying us back. We're on Horseshoe Range right now. Do you know that?
Are we?
Sure. Ever since we passed Willow Creek. We'll have a real surprise for them before the day's out.
Never told them nothing about us coming, huh?
Not a word. Thought I'd get even for their not telling us anything. You'll hear Ham use some fancy language.
Maybe Emma will hear.
What do you mean?
Look over there. See who's coming?
Well, I'll be. That's Emma. Hello there, Emma.
Hi.
Well, hi there.
Hi.
I'm happy to see you. Well, what are you two old renegades doing up this way? What are all these cows for? Not settling here, are you?
No, we hadn't planned on that, Emma. These cows are for you.
They're what?
You heard them, Emma. They're for you. The whole darn shebang. We drove them clear from the Bar 20.
Clear from the Bar 20? Well, I want to know about this. You mean Ham sent for them and never told me about it?
Nothing like that, Emma. We made up the herd when Slim Gillian told us about the trouble you're in. No hurry about paying for them, though. You can do that when you're back on your feet again.
Well, I never. Brought them all the way from the Bar 20 just for us. And we never even asked you. Oh, Hoppy, this is the nicest thing I ever heard tell of. And it's just a shame, that's what it is. Just a rotten, doggone shame.
A shame? What is?
That you couldn't get here in time.
What do you mean?
Yep, yesterday would have been all right. Yesterday, the Horseshoe still belonged to us. But now it don't. Now it belongs to the bank. Hoppy, you got here just 24 hours too late.
Now, back to Hopalong Cassidy and our story, Gambler's Luck. It was startling news to Hoppy to learn that he and the Bar 20 trail crew had driven a herd all the way to the Horseshoe, only to arrive 24 hours too late. When he heard this, Hoppy pressed Emma for an explanation, but true to range custom, she refused to say anything more until first she'd taken Hoppy and California home and had fed them. Now, however, in the Horseshoe's spacious kitchen.
Now, wait a second, Emma. Wait a second. What are you saying? You haven't lost the Horseshoe.
Just as good as, Hoppy, just as good as. You see, when Ham borrowed that $10,000 yesterday, he signed a note saying he'd pay it back inside 2 weeks. Now, how much chance do you figure 2 weeks gives us to get any $10,000?
What did you put up against it, Emma? Your range and water rights?
Yeah, that's right, and all our buildings. That's all we had left to put up.
But what was it for, Emma? What did Ham plan to do with that $10,000?
California, I got a brother that was in a heap of ways a darn fine feller. But in one way, he's just a plain darn fool.
Gambling?
Yeah, that's right, Hoppy. I can see you remember him. Yep, it was a poker game he had a hankering to sit into. See, the way he figured it was either make a killing or go bust. And if he didn't take the chance, he figured we was bound to go bust anyways.
That's too bad. Gambling's a fool's game. He lost, eh?
Oh, wasn't that so much, Hoppy? It was the way he lost. He was cheated out of it.
Oh?
Sure. It was taken from him just as crooked as if he'd been held up at the point of a gun. Almost the worst of it was he was cheated by a fella he'd trusted.
Who was he?
Well, ain't likely you'd know him. Name is Jeff Randall. He's an Easterner. Came here just a few months back. But everybody kind of took a shine to him.
But Ham can prove he was cheated?
Oh, sure he can. He's got the cards that'll prove it. It was marked.
Then why don't he go after that Randall hombre and make him give the money back?
That's what he was trying to do. That's why he ain't here now. But I reckon he's got about as much chance of doing it as I'd have of lifting one of them there bulls.
Oh, why? Did Randall light out?
Sure he did, the second he had that cash in his pocket. And with that paint horse he's riding.
Wait a second. He was riding a paint, you say?
That's right. What about it?
We saw a man riding a paint yesterday. Remember him, California?
Sure I do. He was heading down the south bank of the Teton lickety-split. Man in his 50s. Was he, Emma?
Well, middle 50s, the way I calculated California. A real handsome, dignified-looking feller. You really think you saw him?
Sure we did.
I'm sure of it, too, Emma. California, we'd better do something about this.
We should, Hoppy.
You get back to camp and pick up a 2-3-day supply of grub.
I'll do that.
Tell the boys we'll be gone for a bit. But they're to stay here and help Emma handle those cows.
Right.
And get back here as fast as you can. I'll be waiting for you.
Won't take me long. I'll be back before you know it.
Oh, Hoppy, what are you thinking of? You'll never trail that feller. He's got a good day's start on you. Well,
I won't have to trail him, Emma. I think I know where he's going.
Where's that?
Fort Benton.
How come?
Didn't you say he was an Easterner?
Sure I did, but how does that tell you?
We saw him heading down the Teton. The Teton joins Missouri at Fort Benton. And Fort Benton's the head of the navigation of the Missouri.
Hey, you mean he'll go there to grab a steamboat?
Of course. Probably a boat to St. Louis.
I'll bet you're right. But suppose you do come up with him. Will you know him when you see him?
I think so. We got a pretty good look at him yesterday.
Well, he's got a day's start on you, Hoppy. Maybe you'll miss him.
Don't worry about that, Emma. Either we catch him and get that money, or
Or what?
we'll bring you his hide.
Mr. Randall?
Oh, Captain Beck. Captain, I would like you to meet my daughter, Mary. Mary, my dear, this is Captain Beck.
Hello.
Howdy, Miss Mary.
I'll have to ask you to excuse my daughter's veil, Captain. She has suffered an injury to her eyes.
Yes, so my purser told me, Mr. Randall. May I tell you how sorry I am, Miss Randall?
Thank you. That's very kind of you.
The purser said you wanted to speak to me, Mr. Randall.
Yes, I do, Captain Beck. How soon do we sail?
Oh, any moment now. The pilot's just come aboard.
Good. Sooner we leave, the better. You may have noticed, Captain, that I have placed myself here so that I could watch all who came aboard.
No, I hadn't noticed. You've got some reason for it?
I have. I'm taking my daughter east so that she may have the services of surgeons who can restore her sight. And as you can imagine, it will be expensive.
Oh, I don't doubt it.
That's why I'm carrying this cash box. I have $10,000 in here, Captain, and I should hate to lose it. If I do, Mary must remain blind.
I see. You'd like me to take it for you?
No, not at all. Now, the point is this. I have reason to believe that certain men may be following me who would not hesitate to rob me if they could.
Well,
I would merely like your assurance that if I find any of them aboard and they try to trouble me, I can have your assistance.
of course you can. If they try anything, I'll put them under arrest.
Thank you. That's all I wanted of you, Captain.
If that's all, then I'll ask you to excuse me.
Of course.
Goodbye, Miss Randall. It's been a pleasure meeting you.
Thank you, Captain. Goodbye. Father, we're leaving.
Thank heavens. Now we're safe.
You're sure of that, Randall?
What? Who are you?
The name's Cassidy, Randall. I'm a friend of Ham Irish.
Say, Hoppy, what are we tying up here for?
I imagine we're tying up for the night.
For all night?
Sure, navigation's too tough on the Missouri to run at night. They always tie up like this.
And why'd they wait so long? It's black as pitch already.
Imagine the pilot's trying to make time. Otherwise, we probably would have tied up at that army post we passed.
Uh-huh. Say, there's been something I wanted to ask you, Hoppy.
Mm-hmm.
You spoke to that Randall fella right after we started. Why didn't you brace him for that money? Why'd you put it off for?
Oh, I don't know just what to do, California. Notice that young woman with him?
The one with the veil? Yeah, sure I did. What about her?
That's his daughter. I found out about her when I was inquiring after him in Fort Benton. She wears that veil because of an injury to her eyes. She's blind.
Oh, golly, Hoppy. I didn't know that.
I imagine that's what he stole the money for. Pay for the operations to get her sight back.
That makes it tough. We grab that money back, she stays blind, huh?
Something like that, I guess. I can't decide what to do. Actually, the money belongs to Ham and Emma. But if we take it back, you can see what it means. What would you do?
Well, golly, I don't know.
I had hoped that you would know.
Oh, Randall. You heard us, I suppose.
Yes, I did. When you told me you were a friend of Ham Irish's, I knew, of course, why you were here. Well, you know all the facts now. Do you blame me for doing what I did?
I wouldn't try to say what I'd do in your place, Randall. The fact remains that you stole money belonging to Ham and Emma Irish. What are you going to do about it?
Oh, I'm sorry for them, of course, Cassidy, but unless you force me, I don't intend doing anything about it.
No?
After all, to me, my daughter comes first. Any other question is, what do you propose to do?
Well, as I told California, I haven't decided yet. But still,
Still, that money has to go back, eh?
It should, shouldn't it?
Well, I thank you for listening to me anyhow, Cassidy. And thank you for not exposing me before my daughter.
I couldn't have done that, Randall.
And I appreciate it. Now, if you'll excuse me, I'll go back to my cabin. Perhaps you'll have made up your mind by morning.
Yes, maybe I will have.
I'll be here anyhow. I won't run away, you may be sure of that.
Tough spot, huh, Hoppy?
It sure is. I don't know what to do. I'd like to think it over a little longer. You want to run along and see if they've fed the horses?
Sure. Where they got 'em?
Oh, they always keep horses, wagons, things like that on the main deck just below us. Go on down and have a look at them. Huh?
All right, I'll do that. You coming down?
I'll see you in our cabin.
Right.
I don't know what to do.
No! Hoppy! Help! Hey!
California! What happened? Where are you? Hey! What is it, California? You hurt? What the...
Turn around, Cassidy.
Why, you...
Take it.
Oh!
Sorry, Cassidy, but you and your partner will be becoming troublesome. I'm afraid you'll have to die.
Now, back to Hopalong Cassidy and our story, Gambler's Luck. Only a few minutes had passed since Hoppy, answering a call for help from California, found himself attacked from behind by Jefferson Randall. A moment later, depending on the heavy spring-tide current that carried them to their death, Randall dragged Hoppy and California to the rail and dropped them overboard. The sudden plunge restored Hoppy to consciousness, however. Now...
We're almost ashore. You can wade now, Cal. Here, hold on to me. How you feel?
Rotten. I feel like I got my head half split open. How you feeling?
Mine was split open the other half. Here we are. Let me take a look at you.
It's doggone dark. Don't think you can see anything.
I can see a little. It's not bad. Skin's broken, that's all.
No.
You'll be all right. Randall hit you harder than he hit me. I had a little warning, you know.
You know, Hoppy, I think that fella really tried to kill us.
Well, sure he did. If he could have taken a chance of shots, he'd have used his gun. Probably was afraid to risk it.
And I was wasting my time being sorry for that skunk.
I didn't. I was sorry for his daughter. I still am.
Well, what are we going to do now?
I
I think we'll stay right here where we are for a while.
Huh? Well, what for?
Well, in the first place, if Randall wants us dead, I think it'd be a good idea to let him think we are.
What good'll that do?
It may make it easier to get that money back.
Well, getting it back shouldn't be hard. All we have to do is to go to the captain and tell him the truth about it. He might not believe us, but he'd have to investigate, wouldn't he?
Sure. Then Mary Randall would know that her father is a thief.
Well, ain't he?
Of course he is. But he only became one in order to help her, didn't he?
Yeah, I guess you're right. What's your idea, then?
Well, to stay ashore till Randall's convinced we're not coming back. Then go back aboard.
The boat will just stay there till morning, huh?
Sure it will. And when we're aboard, we'll see if we can't get into Randall's cabin and get that money box.
Won't he be guarding it?
Thinking us dead? I don't think so. It's our best chance at any rate. Then he can tell his daughter the money was stolen or anything he wants to. She won't have to know the truth, at least.
It still bothers me about that money being meant to fix her eyes, Hoppy.
It does me, too. But it belongs to Ham and Emma, doesn't it? What else can we do?
Hoppy, hurry it up. Here's our cabin.
All right, open it up. Go on in.
You got the money?
Right here. Now, let's get back. Maybe we can get off before they start up.
I don't think so. Sounded like they was giving orders to start up when we came in. Yeah, we're starting now.
Well, that's all right. Then we'll get off at the next landing. Come on, let's get our gear together. We can... What was that?
I don't know. Somebody now.
But who saw us come aboard?
I didn't think nobody did.
Mr. Cassidy, this is Mary Randall. Let me in.
Mary Randall. How did she know we were in here?
I don't know. She couldn't have seen us. Heck, she can't even see.
Let me in, Mr. Cassidy. I've got to talk to you. If you don't, I'll go for the captain.
No use keeping her out. Just a moment. Good morning, Miss Randall. Come in. Here, I'll give you a hand. There's a chair here.
Thank you.
I wonder how you knew we were here.
Why shouldn't you have been? But anyhow, I heard your voices. You see, that's one of the advantages of being blind, Mr. Cassidy. It heightens your other senses.
Yes, of course. But what did you want?
I happen to know that you and your friend are thieves, Mr. Cassidy.
What?
Hey, now, wait a
No
minute.
use denying it. My father has told me about you. I know that you followed him aboard this boat in the hope that you can steal the money he carries.
Oh, he told you that, did he? What else did he tell you?
That was all.
That was enough for his purposes.
I have only one reason for being here, Mr. Cassidy, and that is to appeal to your better nature.
Oh.
If you're prepared to steal now, I have no doubt that you've often stolen in the past. I would like to think that you have the strength of character to reform. But at any rate, I appeal to you on this occasion to let my father alone. If you don't,
Yes?
I promise you, you'll regret it.
Perhaps I will. That's all you have to say?
Yes. I'll be going now. But there's one thing more.
What is that?
I'll be dining with my father at noon today. I would like you to join us. In fact, I'll be expecting you.
Thank you. Maybe I will.
Oh, yes. And bring the money box with you, Mr. Cassidy. You see, I know you've already stolen it. If you don't, I'll have to inform Captain Beck.
Hoppy, she knows about the money.
Yeah, I know she does, California. This changes things. This changes things a lot. Hello there.
How do you do?
You look rather surprised to see us, Randall.
Well, I scarcely know what to say. Won't you sit down?
Thank you. We will.
I'm very glad that you and Mr. Carlson have accepted my invitation, Mr. Cassidy. You've brought the money.
No, Miss Randall. No, I haven't. I've decided to keep it.
I see. You leave me no choice. I've already spoken to Captain Beck, Mr. Cassidy. Now I shall have to ask him to arrest you.
I don't think your father would like you to do that, Miss Randall.
Why not?
I don't think he'd care to have you know he's a thief.
Hey,
Cassidy.
Hoppy, you're telling her. I thought we agreed that...
You'll have to let me handle this, California.
But doggone it.
As I said, I'll handle it.
Yeah.
Miss Randall, I've told you the truth. I'm not the thief. Your father is.
I don't believe it. Captain Beck, come here, please.
Yes, Miss Randall?
This man refuses to return the money. He has some ridiculous story to the effect that my father is a thief. I'll have to ask you to arrest him.
You know that he's taken your father's money? You'll prefer the charges?
Yes, I know he has.
In that case...
Just
why-
a moment, Captain. You better let me explain.
No explanations needed, Cassidy. No, don't try to draw. I have you covered. Now, I'd suggest that you surrender without making trouble. Once the people aboard this boat know what you've done, you'll be lucky not to be lynched.
Now, back to Hopalong Cassidy.
Hoppy, the captain wasn't kidding any about this bunch being ripe for a lynching. They mean business.
And so do I.
But you shouldn't have... Hey, wait a second. This is trouble. All right, you fellas, get back. The whole pack of you. Get back now. Get back. Just one of you come a step closer and they'll get drilled.
No trouble now, no trouble. I'll handle this.
Hoppy, come on, while we get the chance.
I'm staying here.
You gone loco? Why, they'll...
Just keep Captain Beck here covered. Don't let him interfere. All right now, Miss Randall. This is between you and me. I want the truth. You...
No! Stop him! He's pointing his guns at me! Stop him! Stop him!
Hoppy, you gone clean stark crazy.
I know what I'm doing. I thought that might work, Miss Randall. Now tell me something. How did you know I was pointing these guns at you? You're blind. You claim you are, anyway. How could you know what I was doing with these guns?
Well,
I think we'll find out just what is wrong with your eyes, Miss Randall. Let's see what's behind that veil you're wearing.
no, don't!
Just as I thought. Your eyes are as good as mine. You were only pretending to be blind. That veil was a fake.
Hey, I thought I'd seen that female before. Well, her name ain't no Randall. There's Frisco Sal.
No. Just a moment, please. Who are you?
Well, my name is Pete Peterson, Cap. I'm a miner from up Denver way.
And who did you say this young woman was?
Frisco Sal. Except I couldn't recognize her as long as she was wearing that veil.
You know her?
I know her. Oh, I should say so.
Well,
I was there when they run her out of Julesburg. Just give me a couple of minutes and I'll round up a dozen of the boys that used to know her.
You go ahead and do that, Peterson. In the meantime, Captain, you'd better keep an eye on this pair.
Yes, I do believe I had.
Oh, gone, Hoppy. When you pulled that trick on her with your guns, you knowed she could see. But what I don't see is, how you know.
I've known it since she called on us this morning. If she couldn't see, how could she have known that we already had her father's money box?
Well, I'll be darned. Of course, and I never got it.
What do you got to say now, Miss Randall? Or whatever your name is?
What I've got to say is to this sucker I was working with. So you told me I couldn't get in any trouble, did you?
Now, Sal.
You'd worked this trick a dozen times on the Mississippi, had you? Why,
Don't
you...
say anything, Sal. Don't say anything.
I'll say plenty. Cassidy, all this was a trick to play for sympathy. He called it insurance. If the fella he stole from caught up with him, he figured he'd be so sorry for us he wouldn't do anything.
I thought so. Better take him away, Captain. Keep him under guard.
Right. I'll turn him over to the authorities at the next landing. Come along, you.
You're not going to
See what you've got to see.
Doggone it, Hoppy. I gotta apologize. You know, I figured that was a dirty trick you was doing when you started telling her about her pa being crooked.
I just wanted to see how far she'd play along with him. I had an idea that sooner or later she'd do some talking.
She did plenty.
That's right. Plenty. Enough to send her and Randall to jail and us back to the horseshoe with Ham's money.
With action and suspense out of the Old West comes the most famous hero of them all, Hopalong Cassidy, starring William Boyd. The ring of the silver spurs heralds the most amazing man ever to ride the prairies of the early West, Hopalong Cassidy, the same Hoppy you cheer in motion pictures, and the same California you've laughed at a million times. Raw courage and quick shooting have built a legend around this famous hero. Hopalong is a name to be feared, respected, and admired, for this great cowboy rides the trails of adventure and excitement. William Boyd as Hopalong Cassidy, and Andy Clyde as California. What's our story this time, Hoppy?
We call this one Bullfight. It began when California and I stopped off at Dade Larkin's Box L on our way back to the Bar 20 after a visit over New Mexico way. We'd known Dade a long time, and as it was getting on towards sundown and grub time, we decided to stop off at his place for the night. We stopped all right, but all through supper that evening, Dade never stopped talking about the great things he was doing to upgrade his beef stock.
Yes, sir, Hoppy. You come back through here again 5 years from now, and you won't hardly recognize my brand. California, pass me that there sorghum, will you?
Pass me something. You fellers getting awful polite over here, or you just get short arms. A man who can't do his own reaching ain't hardly deserving to be.
You've got a point there, California. But you fellas wouldn't be trying to make me forget what I was talking about, would you?
Oh, not at all, Dade. Don't you even think it.
Okay, I won't. Which is a mighty handy thing, 'cause I ain't told you yet about that purebred white-faced bull I got in today.
Oh, here he goes again, Hoppy.
You've bought a purebred, you say?
Yes, sir, I have. Come today. Paid over $1,000 for him. Yes, sir, and that ain't all. I've got 2 more. Got them in a couple of weeks ago. They already been turned loose out in the range.
Cost you plenty, didn't they?
You ain't just talking, Hoppy. The 3 of them together cost me between $3,000 and $4,000. Hoppy, them bulls just gotta help me upgrade this here herd of mine. If they don't, well, I'm telling you, I ain't just throwed. I'm also hog-tied.
Well, I hope they do, Dade. But I'm not quite sure I like this.
Why not?
Well, in the first place, this is still all open range.
Well, what if it is? Well, come on, speak up, Hoppy. I thought I'd been telling you good news, but from that look you got in your face, it might have been nothing but bad. Well, what is it, Hoppy? Come on, out with it.
Dade, I hate to say this, but I'm not sure you haven't been telling me bad news. You see, purebreds on free range like this sometimes cause trouble. They don't... Hey, what's that?
Oh, God.
Well, that sounded like it was over at the corrals. Come on, let's see what that is.
Might have been a wolf trying to get at the calves. Somebody might have took some shots at him.
Oh, ain't been a wolf seen around here for the past 2 years. Besides, ain't none of my men on the place tonight.
Look over there. Looks like something's down.
Whereabouts?
In that round pen.
Hey, that's where I put my hip. Come on.
That's your new purebred, all right. Looks like he's dead.
Yeah, he's dead, all right. Cost me over $1,000. And somebody shot him.
Now, back to Hopalong Cassidy and our story, Bullfight. Seated at supper with Dade Larkin at Dade's Box L, Hoppy and California were roused by the sound of shots. Following after Dade and hastening outside, they discovered that someone had wantonly shot down and killed Dade's expensive purebred Hereford bull. It took Dade a moment to realize the blow that had been struck at him. But now he suddenly turns upon Hoppy in a towering rage.
Hoppy, you knew something about this. You tell me what it was. Who did this? You tell me what you know about it.
Dade, take it easy. Let go of me.
Now, don't go trying to push Hoppy around, Dade, or maybe you'll find yourself pushing up daisies.
Oh, sorry, Hoppy. I'm sorry. Guess I got so all fired and mad I forgot myself.
That's all right. Forget about it. I don't blame you.
But from the way you talked inside, for a second there, I felt suspicious. You started to say something about these purebreds of mine maybe starting trouble. Now, you must have meant something by that, Hoppy. What was it?
Well, nothing you shouldn't have realized for yourself, Dade. This is still free range. You're living in a country where cows have to rustle for a living. Longhorns can do that. Lots of people feel that purebreds won't stand up under the conditions that cows have to face out here.
Yeah, I know that. I've heard them arguing. I always said that was a lot of foo-for-all.
But maybe some of your neighbors don't agree with you. And don't forget that when you turn those bulls out on open range, you'll be upgrading your neighbor's beef as well as your own.
You mean to say one of them might have done this?
Could be, Dade. Let's face it. It's happened other places, hasn't it?
Oh, wouldn't none of my neighbors do a low-down stunt like this, Hoppy. I've known most of them near half a lifetime. Hey, wait a second. Hoppy, you told me something without me realizing it. Tim Riley.
What's that?
Who's Tim Riley?
The only new neighbor I got. He's horned into my range over south of here. Come here about 6 months ago. Just about as popular with the others around here as a hydrophobic skunk.
Oh, well, there's nothing unusual about that, Dade. When a new man moves onto range that's already been claimed, he's never very popular.
But Riley's a skunk by nature. If one of my neighbors done this, then he's the one.
You'll need some proof.
Got all the proof I need. My bull's dead, ain't he?
Yeah, but that isn't proof.
It's proof enough for me, Hoppy. Come on, let's turn in. I want to get a good night's sleep. Because when morning comes, I'm riding over to Riley's and presenting my bill.
Well, Hoppy, it's morning, and we're on our way again. Sanctified polecats. Won't I be glad to see the old Bar 20 the day we ride in there? I'm just gonna...
Topper,
whoa there, whoa. Say, what's the matter with you, Hoppy? What are we stopping for?
I've just changed my mind, California.
Huh? Changed it? Changed it about what?
About heading right back for the Bar 20. I've been thinking things over. Thinking about the way Dade looked when he started for Riley's this morning. You know, there's going to be trouble about that killing of the bull. I don't think we should leave until it's cleared up.
If there's going to be trouble, that's just the best reason in the world why we ought to leave.
Come on, let's turn back.
Where are we going now? Back to Dade's place?
No, to Riley's. Come on, let's go.
Doggone it. Get up, boy.
No, Riley. I ain't staying out till I'm invited in. I'm here to collect for that bull you shot last night, and by thunder, I either collect or take it out of your hide.
That's what you think. I don't know anything about the killing of that bull of yours. All I know is whoever did it had the right idea.
Why, you... Hey, take that, you stinking killer, and here's more for you.
What? You big lummox! I'll kill you! I'll kill you!
Hey, look at him.
Yeah, cut this up. All right, Dade, up with you. Get off it.
Let me alone. Let me alone, I tell you.
Get up and quit acting like a 2-year-old. Are you all right, Riley?
I'm all right. But if you'd been a couple of seconds later, that friend of yours wouldn't have been.
Dade, I thought you had better sense.
And I thought you'd headed back for the Bar 20 where you belong. What are you doing back here?
Stopping you from making a fool of yourself. Now, you two are going to shake hands.
Huh? Me? With him?
Hey, what are you talking about?
You'll shake hands or I'll take you on.
Yeah. Well, I guess I did make a mighty fool out of myself, Hoppy. But shaking hands...
You'll do it and like it. And so will you, Riley. This is the way range wars start. But this is one war that's never going to get started.
Well, I didn't want to fight.
Good. Shake hands on it, then.
Well, Riley, I'm hot-headed. Maybe I did kind of jump to conclusions without near enough proof. If I did, well, I'm sorry, and I'd like to apologize.
Yeah, thanks. That's mighty big of you, Larkin.
Oh,
Hey. Who's this coming?
Well, that's Bart, one of my men.
Hey, boss.
Bart, what is it?
Boss, there's blazes to pay.
What is it? What's happened?
Them other 2 purebred bulls of yours, boss, I rode out to where they was grazing at this morning, only they ain't. Ain't grazing, I mean. They're dead. They're both of them dead.
What's that?
How did they die?
Somebody shot them.
Who did it? You got any idea, Bart? Who did it?
I got a darn good idea who done it, boss. It was Riley here.
Huh?
When I rode up to him, one of his men was just riding away.
I told you, Sheriff, after that, the fur started to fly. I just got Dade and Riley quieted down when Bart rode in with the news about the other two bulls. I thought they'd jump at each other's throats.
Well, what stopped them?
This colt.
He used his fist and Dade, Sheriff, and showed Riley he wouldn't mind using the gun on him. It was real gratifying to see the way that soothed him.
I'll bet. But what did you two fellas come to see me for? Want me to find out who really killed them bulls?
If you can, Sheriff, that'll be fine. We were wondering if you knew anybody besides Riley who'd like to make trouble for Dade.
No, can't think of anybody, Hoppy. Dade and Riley, they've been real mad at each other ever since Riley come here.
Yeah.
You see, Riley moved on to the range that Dade always figured was his.
Yeah, I know that.
And I don't blame Dade for getting mad. It's cost him plenty, without counting them bulls either.
Hey, Hoppy.
What is it?
Here comes Bart again. The way that fella travels, he ought to sprout wings. Horses don't seem fast enough. He's coming in.
Hey, Sheriff. Cassidy.
What is it now, Bart?
Cassidy, this time I got real news for you. I know who killed them bulls. It was...
Why, what the... Bart! Hey, Bart!
He's got a knife in him. Somebody broke that window to throw a knife. California, get outside. See if you can find him.
I'll do that, Hoppy.
Hoppy. Bart, how is he? Do you think he'll be able to talk?
Just a second, Sheriff. That's what I'm trying to find out. No, he won't talk. He's dead.
Now, back to Hopalong Cassidy and our story, Bullfight. Hoppy in California had called upon the sheriff to learn who Dade Larkin's enemies might be. They were presently interrupted by one of Dade's hands, a man known as Bart. And almost immediately afterwards, by Bart's murder. Now we see Hoppy and the sheriff just after Hoppy has pronounced Bart dead.
Bart knew something, all right, Sheriff. And the man who killed him is the man we're after.
Well, we'd be after him in any case now, Hoppy. Maybe we better go outside and give California a hand. If the killer's anywhere around, we...
No need to go out. Here they come.
Yeah, who's that he's holding on to? Well, I'll be switched. It's Tim Riley.
Yeah, someone's giving California a hand. You know him, Sheriff?
Well, yeah, that's High Phillips. He's another rancher here in the valley. Owns a Flatiron just north of Dade's place.
Oh.
Hi there. Hello, Phillips. I see you and California got him.
Yeah, here's the man you want, all right.
Yeah, I caught him just as he was hitting the saddle, aiming to leave town. Pretty upset about it, too. Reckon he figures if he's decent enough to go around killing fellers, the law ought to be decent enough to let him alone.
Sheriff, this is a lot of nonsense. I never killed anybody. If you don't believe me, take a look at my gun. You can tell it ain't been fired.
Bart wasn't killed with a gun, Riley. He was killed with a knife.
Oh, I didn't know that. Well, I never carry a knife. You can ask anybody. Nobody's ever seen me carry a knife.
What were you doing here? You must have headed for town almost as soon as we did.
I came in for supplies. Feller's got a right to buy supplies, hasn't he?
Sure. And you can prove that?
Sure I can. Go ask him over at the store.
You didn't actually see Riley throw the knife, did you, Phillips?
I didn't see anybody do anything. I only came into this because I saw your friend here grab Riley, and it looked as if he needed help.
I see.
But if you want my opinion, Riley did it. If he doesn't usually carry a knife, all the more reason he should use one this time. He's no good, Cassidy. The sooner he's run out of here, the better for all of us.
I've heard he isn't exactly popular. What do you think, Sheriff?
Well, I think I better hold him.
I don't see how you can.
Why not?
No evidence. Just his being in town doesn't prove anything. You didn't see anyone else around when you went outside, did you, California?
No. If I had, I'd have rounded him up, too.
That's just what I thought. If I were you, Sheriff, I'd let Riley go.
Well, if you say so, Hoppy.
I do. I think it's best.
Okay, Riley. Go on, get out of here. But we'll be watching you, and don't you forget that.
Yeah, I ain't likely to. Maybe I'll see you fellers another time.
Hey, wait a minute, Riley. Wait a minute.
Yeah, Phillips?
Sheriff, who the blazes is running your office anyway? You or Cassidy?
Well, Hoppy's got a name for knowing how to handle this kind of thing.
Hogwash. Riley, you listen to me.
Yeah?
I don't care what Cassidy or the sheriff says. You get out of this valley. You hear me? Get out or you'll be run out.
Yeah? Suppose you come and chase me out.
Maybe I'll do that. Sheriff, this is a disgrace, not locking that fella up. And as for you, Cassidy, I don't care what you say. We're not letting Riley stay in this valley one day longer than we gotta. You hear me? He's getting out.
Uh-huh. But that's your business. I've got business of my own to attend to.
Yeah, what's that, Hoppy?
I'm going to look up Dade. Maybe he knows the same thing Bart did. Come on, California. Let's go.
No, Hoppy, I don't know a thing, I tell you. I didn't know Bart had found out anything. Fact of the matter is, I didn't know he'd gone into town. Till you just now told me, I didn't even know he'd been killed. And I tell you, it's a doggone shame, Hoppy. Bart was a good man. A good man. He'd worked for me for a long time. Tell you, I'm going to see the fellow that done it strung up if it cost me my ranch.
Your friends seem to feel the same way, especially High Phillips.
He mostly seems to think Riley done it.
Well, I don't know now. I tell you, I don't know. Killing bulls is one thing, but killing men's another. I don't know if I'd size Riley up to be a man-killer or not. How about that knife you mentioned, Hoppy? You say it didn't have any identification on it?
I didn't say. I didn't even mention a knife.
You didn't what?
Wait a second. Look there.
What? Oh, it's High Phillips. And looks like he's got just about every rancher in the valley with him.
Maybe he meant what he said back there at the sheriff's office.
Yeah. Hi there. What's up?
We've come to see if you don't want to join us, Dade. We're going to pay Riley a little call. We had an idea you might like to come along.
What kind of a call is this, Phillips?
A business call. We call it that because we mean business. Either Riley leaves the valley willing or he leaves on a rail. We're giving him that choice.
Oh, look here now,
I don't think we can allow you to do this,
I thought
Phillips.
you might say that, Cassidy. All right, Jake, let him have it.
Hoppy, watch out! One of them sneaked behind you. Oh. Why, you skunks. You've knocked Hoppy out.
Don't move, mister.
I'll...
We got you covered. Well, what about it, Dade? You coming with us or not?
I'm not. And if I ever get my hands on what you just done
You
here...
won't, I'm afraid. Tie the three of them up, men, and we'll get going.
Oh, hey, look here, Dade. He's a-coming, too.
Yeah. Hoppy, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. What about Phillips? The rest of them? Where did they go?
They went on to Riley's, Hoppy. They tied us up first, but we got loose. All we've been waiting for is you to come, too.
All right. Come on. Let's
sure.
get after them.
You're all right, Hoppy?
Oh, I'm all right. We got to get to Riley's.
Riley's out of ammunition. Come on, we'll rush him. This way, follow me.
You fellas, get back! First one in this door gets his head busted open.
Break that door down. Come on, men. Get at it. ride this skunk out on a rail.
That's what you think you'll do.
Hey, who's that?
Get back. Get your hands up. Come on, Dade. You too, California. Keep these fellas covered.
You bet, Hoppy. We'll do that.
Now listen, you fellas. Listen to me. I know the name of the killer. Riley is innocent. You hear me? Riley is innocent.
But if Riley ain't behind all this, who is?
He's one of your neighbors. One who's been here for years. He's the man who planned all this. The man who wanted Riley driven out of the valley so he could grab his range. He's... California is running for it. Throw a loop on him.
I'll do that, little thing. Hey, come back here. Come back, you Philip chop. Hoppy, this is what's dragging the local steer.
I didn't do it. I didn't kill anyone. You can't blame this on me.
Then why'd you run for it?
I thought you were going to frame me. The way you said it sounded like that to me. But I didn't kill anybody. I tell you, I didn't kill anybody.
A likely story.
But he's right. He's telling the truth, California.
What's that you said, Hoppy?
Phillips didn't kill anyone. The killer is still right here.
Now, back to Hopalong Cassidy.
Hey, what's that you said, Hoppy? You said the killer's right here, but he ain't really Riley or Phillips?
That's right, Dade. Neither one of them.
Well, then who is?
I'll describe him to you, Dade. Maybe you'll recognize him.
Yeah?
He's the rancher who pretended to know so little about the cattle business that he didn't even know that the introduction of purebreds on open range might cause trouble.
But
He's the man who pretended to know nothing about Bart's death, and yet knew he'd been knifed before I even told him he hadn't been shot.
Listen, Hoppy, if you're trying to say that...
He's the man who had most to gain by seeing Riley run out of the valley. It was his range Riley had moved in on.
You hold up a second, Hoppy. You're making that fella sound like me.
Am I, Dade? That's good. You're just the man I mean.
I suppose I killed my own bulls. Bulls that cost me over $3,000.
You can bet you did. It was worth it, too. Losing this range must have cost you $20,000 or $30,000. You had one of your men do it, of course, and somehow Bart found out about it. So when he tried to tell us...
You dirty polecat.
Look out! Look out! He's got you covered with a shotgun!
No, don't pull those triggers, Dade, and don't try to fight this thing. You've been as good as strung up ever since you made that slip about the knife. I'm going to take that shotgun away from you, Dade.
No, stay where you are. You come one step closer and I'll shoot.
I'm coming, Dade. I'm going to take it, Dade.
All right, blast it. Take it. Why, I shot right at you. Why don't you fall?
I kind of thought you'd try this, Dade. There's been no shot in those shells since we left your ranch. Take him away, boys. I used to figure Dade was my friend. But when a friend becomes a proven killer, friendship ends.
You know, Hoppy, I gotta hand it to you. It sure takes a lot of courage to do that.
What do you mean? Courage to do what?
To turn again a friend like that and practically hand him over to the hangman.
Well, it wasn't an easy thing to do. Friendship is a nice thing to lean on, though, especially when you've known someone a long time. Friendship is like a refuge you can turn to when you're tired or worried.
Yeah, that's right.
My friendship with Dade was like that. Oh, he talked a lot. But I enjoyed his company as well as anyone I ever knew. It was a shock to find out he'd turned selfish and bad.
Yeah, I guess it hurt all right. Hoppy, I've been thinking that...
So have I.
I know, but what I was going to say was, I've been thinking about a friend of mine who I'd like to visit a lot.
When you're tired or worried?
No, when I'm hungry.
Oh, you and your appetite.
And so Dade Larkin becomes just another loser in the fight against justice. and Hoppy heads back for a rest on the Bar 20. But he'll be riding out into another danger-filled adventure next time we meet, when he and California go hunting for the gal who makes the best beef stew west of Topeka. They find her all right, along with the other women of Windy Ridge. Hopalong Cassidy, starring William Boyd, is transcribed and produced in the West by Walter White, Jr. Bullfight was written by Gibson Scott Fox, with original music under the personal direction of Albert Glasser. All stories are based upon the characters created by Clarence E. Mulford. This is a Commodore production. With action and suspense out of the Old West comes the most famous hero of them all, Hopalong Cassidy, starring William Boyd. The ring of the silver spurs heralds the most amazing man ever to ride the prairies of the early West, Hopalong Cassidy, the same Hoppy you cheer in motion pictures, and the same California you've laughed at a million times. Raw courage and quick shooting have built a legend around this famous hero. Hopalong is a name to be feared, respected, and admired, for this great cowboy rides the trails of adventure and excitement. William Boyd as Hopalong Cassidy, and Andy Clyde as California. Here's Hoppy now with another new story.
The Women of Windy Ridge, we call this one, and it happened in western Oklahoma, in the narrow stretch that lies between Texas and Kansas. We had no real business being there at all, since we were on our way to a Kansas roundup. But California had remembered that Liz McCoy lived in a place called Windy Ridge. Liz McCoy, who could make the best beef stew west of Topeka. So in Windy Ridge, we went looking for Liz and her beef stew. But what we found there had nothing to do with food. Before we rode into the little town.
Look-a here, you. I'm getting sick and tired of this, Wade. They tell me you haven't done a thing yet.
Why don't you let us alone, Steve? You may be mayor of this town, but I'm sheriff of the county.
But you've had 3 hours on this job, and you've done nothing. What's the matter?
She's a woman, Steve. It ain't the same with women.
It is when they're killers. I want her taken, Wade. I want her taken now.
Now, listen, Steve. Liz has dynamite in that house, and she's promised to use it if we rush her.
What are you doing? Letting her buffalo you?
All right, Steve. Hang around a minute. You'll see how it is. Liz, can you hear me?
I'll hear you all right, and I'm sick of hearing you.
I'm giving you one last warning, Liz.
And I'm giving you one last warning, Wade. I'm giving you 10 seconds to get back across that street. You and the rest of your posse. If you don't, I'll blow you sky high. This is the last warning, Wade. The next poke that rattles that door gets it.
Well, come on. We'd better get back across the street like she says.
Hey, listen, Wade.
Shut up, Steve. That woman isn't fooling. Here, let's get in this doorway. It's getting dark. Maybe after a while she'll fall asleep.
Not Liz McCoy. She never sleeps.
And just the same, we'll wait. She might even decide to give up.
Hey, look, Wade. A couple of waddies stopping in front of Liz's place.
I better warn him.
Yeah, wait. Let's see what Liz does about it. They're strangers, so it won't matter.
Steve, you've gone crazy.
Wait. You let one yap out of you, and I'll wrap this gun around your head.
You've gone crazy. You've let this reform fight go to your brain. Hey, look, they're knocking on her door. I'm going to stop
You're
them.
going to do nothing. That woman's a murderess, and this is going to deliver her into our hands.
Not if it means getting them fellers killed. Hey, get back from that door! Get back before you get through!
Now back to Hopalong Cassidy and our story, The Women of Windy Ridge. With California seeking out Liz McCoy, who makes the best beef stew west of Topeka, Hoppy has come to the town of Windy Ridge, Oklahoma. But here, as they're standing knocking at Liz McCoy's door, a warning shout comes from across the street, and a charge of dynamite explodes almost in their faces.
Hoppy, come. You all right, Hoppy?
Yeah, I'm all right. But I wouldn't have been if somebody hadn't yelled. Who did that?
I did. Here, we'd better all get back out of the way. No telling what that woman will do next.
Look, Wade, that explosion tangled up the whole front of her house. Maybe it got Liz, too.
And maybe it didn't. We won't take any more chances.
What's this all about? Who are you fellas?
My name's Wade. I'm sheriff here.
That explosion, what?
Liz McCoy did that. She's holed up in there.
And we aim to get her out.
Wait a minute. Why is she holed up?
Yeah, and why do you fellas aim to get her out? Liz McCoy happens to be a friend of ours.
And she also happens to be in trouble. The marshal of this place was stabbed to death this afternoon, and it seems that Liz McCoy did it.
Liz McCoy? Sheriff, you just ain't making sense. Liz McCoy wouldn't kill nobody. I've known her for years, and she just ain't that kind.
Well, people change. Anyway, the marshal's body is lying inside her house, and she won't give herself up.
What happens if she gives herself up?
She'll get a trial.
A fair trial?
Sure, it'll be a fair trial. What kind of people do you think we are?
I don't know. But if you're sure she'll have a fair trial, I'm willing to try going in for a talk with her.
Now, hold on now. She's liable to blast your head off if you get anywhere near her.
Maybe. But I'll take that chance.
And I'm taking it with you, Hoppy.
Oh, all right. If you want to take the chance. Hey, you might try going in from the side, from the top of that porch next door. We'll try and keep her attention out here.
Sounds like a good idea. Come on, California.
Dark in here. Wish there was a moon or something. I can't see a thing.
I can see you all right. You don't climb back out that window, I'm going to blow your heads off.
Don't shoot, Liz. It's California. California calls.
And hop along, Cassidy, Liz. We just want to help you.
Why, you two ornery polecats, what are you doing here?
Liz, you're in trouble. We want to help you.
Hoppy, nobody can help me.
What happened? You didn't kill the marshal, did you?
Oh, I never killed nobody in my life, but that ain't going to help me now.
Well, if you didn't kill him, Liz, give yourself up. Stand trial.
What, and be hanged for something I didn't do? Not me.
Oh, Liz, they don't hang women out here.
That's where you're wrong, California. I've seen a woman hanged. Margie Benjamin over to Pascal's Gulch. The way things are in this town, I don't have a chance. Besides, I ain't going to let her mock me, sit there while I'm on trial a-grinning at me.
Who are you talking about, Liz?
Why, I'm talking about that Dolly Chester. Her and her fancy feathers. If it wasn't for Dolly Chester, I wouldn't be in this trouble.
Liz, give yourself up and stand trial.
No, not me, Hoppy. I'd rather shoot it out here in my own place and die with my self-respect.
What is it that's wrong, Liz? What's the cause of all this?
Why, they've gone crazy, that's what's wrong. Crazy with reform. And that woman's the cause of it. Now get on out of here, you two, before them others try sneaking in here while I'm talking. And you can tell that sheriff that I've got 2 shotguns waiting for them as I don't get with the dynamite.
Well, what'd she say?
She doesn't think she'll get a fair trial. What's behind all this, Sheriff? What was the cause of the marshal being killed?
Well, there's a reform movement on in this town, and there's already 3 men dead because of it. Liz McCoy got into trouble because she wouldn't close her gambling place.
Gambling place? You mean Liz had been running one?
That's right. And when Traynor ordered her to close it, she told him to go soak his head.
Who's Dolly Chester? Liz said something about Dolly Chester being the cause of all the trouble.
I guess you could say she is. It's Dolly Chester that's leading the reform movement. And I can't stand here talking. I've got to do something about getting Liz McCoy out of that house.
Wait a second, Sheriff. Why don't you hold off a while? I've been thinking that if this Dolly Chester guaranteed Liz a fair trial, Liz might give herself up.
Yeah? And who's going to get Dolly Chester to do that? Not me. Or not any other man in this town.
I'll talk to her.
You mean you'll try? Ain't a man in the world ever got anywhere talking to feathers. And the same will go for you.
Yeah? Where can I find her?
Well, that won't give you no trouble. The biggest and best-looking house in town. And she's the prettiest woman in these parts. And if you think you can handle her, you're plumb loco.
Wait a moment, friend. I'll walk with you. I heard what you said to the sheriff back there about talking Liz McCoy into giving herself up. It made me wonder.
What about?
Why you should want to meddle in things that don't concern you.
Liz McCoy is a friend of mine.
And you think you'll help her by giving her that kind of advice?
How would you help her?
I'm working on that. I'm doing my best to get her out of town.
That would make her seem guilty.
Should also help her to live longer. You must be unaware of the bitterness there is in this town, friend. The reform movement they have going has incited a lot of people to hysteria. The kind of hysteria that breeds lynch mobs.
You speak as a man of education, but I don't know you.
I'm Fergal, a gambler. I run a place called the Blue Emerald.
I see. Well, I appreciate your advice, but I think you're wrong. I've never known anyone to help himself by going on the run.
If Liz McCoy stays in Windy Ridge, she may pay with her life. I know that, and Liz knows it. Liz and I are in the same business, and I always take care of my kind.
Suppose this Dolly Chester is willing to guarantee Liz McCoy a fair trial.
Dolly Chester will guarantee nothing to anyone, and your interference will only confuse things.
It'd take gunplay for you to get Liz from under the nose of that sheriff. He's tough and determined, and he has determined men with him.
Well, you're a man of your own opinions, friend. So I must warn you to stay out of it.
And if I don't?
You may not see the end of this street.
Then I guess I'd better go on my way alone.
Yes, perhaps you had. Good night, friend.
Hey, you there.
Sorry, I'm not stopping.
You better stop.
Why? Aren't you good on moving targets? Stay out of this, whoever you are.
I'm telling you to stop.
Better change your business, stranger. You're in a deadly trade.
And this is one job I'm going to finish.
Bartram! Where is he, Bartram?
I'm here, Fergal. You'd better come and get your gunman. I have business of my own with Dolly Chester.
You wanted to see me?
Yes, I did.
Do you always stare like that?
So that's why they call you Feathers.
Who calls me that?
Oh, several people. Maybe the whole town. Plumes. And never have I seen them so delightfully displayed.
And what else did they tell you?
They told me there wasn't a man in the world who could handle you.
And I suppose you came here because of that, to satisfy yourself as to whether they're right or wrong.
I came here because a friend of mine is in trouble.
Who are you?
The name is Cassidy, but my friends call me Hoppy.
You're a stranger here.
Yes, I sort of get around. But I want to talk about Liz McCoy. I'm going to ask you to help her.
Help her? How?
By assuring her that she'll have a fair trial if she gives herself up.
And why should I do that?
You're a woman.
Yes, I am. Probably more woman than you've ever seen in your life, for all of your getting around. And that's just the reason I won't help Liz McCoy. Because the man she killed today was the man I was going to marry.
Now, back to Hopalong Cassidy and our story, The Women of Windy Ridge. Hoppy has been given a couple of hours in which to save the life of Liz McCoy, an old friend of California's. Liz, barricaded in her home, swears she's innocent of the killing of Brent Traynor and won't give herself up unless she is guaranteed a fair trial by Dolly Chester, leader of the town's reform movement against gaming halls. Hoppy has just made the request to Dolly Chester, and the lady has just flatly refused him.
You know what it'll mean, don't you? You're saying no?
I suppose it could mean anything.
It means that Liz McCoy will blow herself up when the sheriff and his men move in. And maybe she'll blow up one or two of the others with her.
I don't see how that concerns me.
You know, the more I talk to you, the more I feel that nothing concerns you except those fancy feathers you're wearing.
Now you're being impudent.
And I suppose that is being disloyal. I suppose nobody even dares to be impudent to the Queen of Windy Ridge. Miss Chester, what you need is a good spanking.
Oh? And do you think you're man enough to give it to me?
Yes, I think I am.
I guess you might be at that. I guess you might. Hoppy, go back to your Liz McCoy. Tell her I guarantee that she'll get a fair trial.
Well, Cassidy, I'm sure relieved. And I'm much obliged to you. I've got that deputy of mine ready to take Liz McCoy over to Reddington. Be safer for her there. Safer for all of us.
Sheriff, how would Fergall figure in this?
I don't know. Blue Emerald's just outside the town limits. It's the only gambling place around that the mayor can't close up.
Has Fergall always been friendly with Liz McCoy?
Liz has always hated his insides, and she's never been backward about telling him.
What about this reform movement? What do you think of it?
Cassidy, this is a raw country, and its people have to blow off steam somehow.
Yeah.
Bottle 'em up and you breed trouble.
Yeah, you're right there, Sheriff.
Steve Graham was a good mayor until he started off on this campaign. Now he's full of fever, and so are the rest of the folks. And the worst part of it is going to come when those trail herds from Texas start moving through here next week. With this no gambling, no drinking fever, the folks are just waiting for 'em. You're going to see a bloody time, Cassidy. A bloody time.
Was the gambling harmful?
Oh, not that I ever noticed. Marshall always kept everything under control. Who's that?
Oh, I couldn't tell for sure under that lantern out there. But I think it's my partner and the mayor.
Mayor? Well, it can't be.
Wade, I want...
Hey, I thought you and my deputy were taking Liz McCoy over to Reddington.
Not me, Wade. There was bail put up, and Judge Lawson said she could go free until the trial.
Bail? Of all the... Who put it up?
Fergall. He said she was his kind, and he was going to help her.
And Liz wants to see you, Hoppy, right away. Over to her house. She said to come even if it was late.
Bail. That rips everything. Come on, Pete. We better start swearing in more deputies. We're going to need 'em. And Cassidy, if you and your pal are willing, I'll start with you two.
That explosion sure tangled this place up. Seems kind of silly to be knocking on this door.
Hold it a second.
Why?
Didn't you hear that?
What?
I thought I heard voices. Somebody sort of gasped or choked.
And the light just went out. Come on, let's get through these right timbers.
Oh, yeah. Might have been easier if we'd have gone around the back way.
Ain't no back way. House sets into the side of the hill. Hoppy, there's something wrong here. Wish there was more light.
Yeah. Well, at least we're through that stuff.
Yeah. This ought to be the front room. What? Doggone it.
What's the matter?
Went flat in my fool face.
Stay quiet a second. Liz? Liz, are you here?
Like being in a grave. Like, Oh, Dick.
What's the matter now?
Pushed my face into cobwebs or something. Hoppy, ain't you got a match? This is getting on my nerves.
I'm way ahead of you. There's a lamp we can light if I can get to it. Uh-oh. Gotta light another match.
Hey, what was that?
Could be more of those boards just falling. And it could be somebody making them fall. There. Now we got the lamp.
Yeah, that's better. Let's see if Liz is in this other room.
Yeah.
Well, I'll be gall darned. Sitting in a chair fast asleep.
I'm afraid it's going to be a long sleep, California. Take another look. There's a knife buried in her chest.
It's suicide, I tell you. That woman knew she'd be convicted of the marshal's murder, and she killed herself.
I don't agree with you, Mr. Mayor. Liz McCoy wasn't the type of woman to kill herself, whatever kind of problem she might have had.
Ah, that's ridiculous. Anyone can kill themselves, for any reason.
Sure.
And I'm sure that's what our coroner's jury will say about it. And with this over and done with, we'll finish the business of cleaning up this town.
I'd say you've already finished it, and maybe the town as well.
What do you mean by that?
Steve, I think Mr. Cassidy's right. I think it's time to let up on our crusade. You've been getting too upset over it, Steve.
Why,
You've closed up all the gambling places in town. Don't you think that's enough?
With 4 people dead, I think it's more than enough.
Mr. Cassidy,
Yes, Miss Chester.
could I talk to you?
Mind if I make it a little later? Right now, I'm heading for the county recorder's office.
Look, do you have to go through every paper in the place? Can't that clerk help you?
Shh, quiet. The clerk's an old man, and he doesn't see very well. I'm just about through anyway.
Right, Hoppy, but I sure don't get it.
You will, California, because I think I've come up with the exact reason for all this trouble they've been having in Windy Ridge.
Hello, Cassidy. Don't tell me you're one of the few people around here who can read.
Hello, Fergal. Yes, I can read. It's a habit I picked up when I was quite young.
Thinking of buying some property in the neighborhood?
Not for a few years yet. I still like to get around and see things.
I imagine you see a lot of things, Cassidy. Too many, perhaps.
I notice you're wearing a gun, Fergal. You didn't have it on yesterday.
No, I only strap it on when I feel there's the possibility of personal unpleasantness.
I see.
Of course, I could take it off again, if you were willing to leave town. You might think about that, my friend.
Yeah.
There goes bad medicine, Hoppy. A chunk of ice, and probably chain lightning with a gun.
He wears it as though he's used to it. But we can't worry about that. Not now, anyway.
So you came back, Hoppy.
Didn't you think I would?
I hoped you would. Because I can't seem to get you out of my mind.
Well, that could be a compliment.
It's meant to be.
And coming from a woman as beautiful as you are, well, I'm impressed.
Do you like my house, Hoppy?
I guess it's about the fanciest home I've ever been in, especially for a town like this.
I chose this town deliberately, Hoppy. I picked it out and came to it when it was just beginning. I decided to make it my town because I wanted to grow with it.
Mm-hmm.
And it is growing. We're the county seat now. Soon there'll be a railroad coming here. It's going to be a big town. And I'm going to be the most important woman in it. But a woman doesn't like to go her way alone. Oh, Hoppy, stop twirling your hat. Just look at me.
How about Traynor, the marshal?
Oh, that was never a particularly flaming affair.
At least, not on your part.
That's right.
From what I hear, he had it pretty bad for you, though.
Perhaps that's why I said I'd marry him. I really only wanted to be kind. But with you, Hoppy...
Traynor had it so bad for you that he didn't quite know what to do when he found out you were crooked.
When he found out I was... What on earth are you talking about?
I'm talking about the fact that you own a half interest in Fergal's gambling hall. I'm talking about how you engineered this so-called reform movement so all the town competition would be wiped out, with Fergal's place the only one left because it's beyond the city limits.
Wherever did you get such a fantastic idea?
From a very factual source, the county recorder's office. You didn't have much time to lose, did you? Most people out here can't read. The recorder's an old man almost blind. You weren't very likely to be caught. But I guess the marshal caught on, didn't he? But he loved you. So he made the mistake of telling you he knew, and you killed him.
Liz McCoy killed him. He died in her home.
Liz McCoy would have used a gun. She was that kind. The knife was your touch, Dolly. And you did the same thing to Liz to make it look like a guilty suicide.
Hoppy, in a few years it won't matter. But right now, the town wouldn't like it if it knew about this.
No.
It'd be a shame to have me get in trouble for it, don't you think, Hoppy? Sort of a waste.
Well, you're a very beautiful woman.
And you have a lot on me.
Mm-hmm.
Enough to keep me entirely in your control. Entirely.
Mm-hmm.
How about it, Hoppy?
I'll think about it, Dolly. But in the meantime, I'm going to walk you over to the sheriff's office and turn you in for murder.
You fool. You insolent fool! Fargo!
Here, Dolly. Don't move, Cassidy. Just keep those hands in that hat away from those holsters.
Not giving me much of a break, are you, Fergo?
I never give anybody a break, Cassidy. It's the way I do business.
If this were stud poker, you'd be high man. But high card showing isn't always the best, is it?
It is this time, Cassidy. Because you don't even get a chance to draw.
Now, back to Hopalong Cassidy.
Take it easy, Hoppy. This leg's going to lay you up for a while.
How about Dolly Chester?
We got her, Cassidy. And you know something? She's already squawking about getting a fair trial. But how'd you happen to down Fergal when he had the drop on you?
I figured ahead of time that I'd be in the middle, so I had a derringer inside my hat. But it almost wasn't big enough.
Well, you did a great job, Cassidy. The town already has its sense back. And I'm not going to have to worry about them Texas trail riders.
But how did you know, Hoppy? How'd you figure it was Dolly Chester?
Did you ever know Liz McCoy to keep a dirty house, California?
Shucks, no. She was about the cleanest party alive.
Right. So when you were crawling around on her floor last night, I didn't see how you could be pushing your face into cobwebs like you said. But I did figure it could be feathers with Miss Chester wearing them as she sneaked by us in the dark.
She was feathers?
Yeah.
Well, I'll be gol darned. Yes, sir. I'll be gol darned.
And that brings to a close the story of the Women of Windy Ridge. In Hoppy's next story, there is plenty of adventure and excitement, and it carries the unusual title, Right Rope, Wrong Neck. Hopalong Cassidy, starring William Boyd, is transcribed and produced in the West by Walter White, Jr. The Women of Windy Ridge was written by Buckley Angel, with original music under the personal direction of Albert Glasser. All stories are based upon the characters created by Clarence E. Mulford. This is a Commodore production. With action and suspense out of the Old West comes the most famous hero of them all, Hopalong Cassidy, starring William Boyd. The ring of the silver spurs heralds the most amazing man ever to ride the prairies of the early West, Hopalong Cassidy, the same Hoppy you cheer in motion pictures, and the same California you've laughed at a million times. Raw courage and quick shooting have built a legend around this famous hero. Hopalong is a name to be feared, respected, and admired, for this great cowboy rides the trails of adventure and excitement. William Boyd as Hopalong Cassidy, and Andy Clyde as California. Well, Hoppy, what about our story?
We call this adventure Right Rope, Wrong Neck. The reason we call it that is because there was a rope involved. A rope that hung above a certain grim scaffolding in the territorial penitentiary at Battery Rock. And a neck involved, too. A neck that belonged to a friend of California's and mine, Fred Oakes. Fred had been sent to Battery Rock to hang for the murder of old Judge Melchior. But the judge's death had really been an accident. As soon as we had proved this to everyone's satisfaction, California and I headed for Battery Rock with a signed release in our pockets. We were nearing our destination on the third day out, and neither one of us were prepared for the shock that was in store for us.
Hoppy, this is getting to be an awful long ride. How much further is it?
What are you complaining about? We've only been on the road for 3 days.
Yeah, I know that, but I'm getting awful saddle weary.
So am I. But it's for a good cause. We'll be able to take Fred back to his wife.
Yeah. It'll sure be good to see them two together again,
It sure will.
Hey, Hoppy, ain't that it up there ahead?
Yeah, that's it, all right.
Big place, ain't it?
Sure is.
I'd hate to try to get over that high fence.
Yeah, pretty big gate, too. And there's something else. See those 4 cupolas up there?
Yeah, what's cupolas?
Those boxes at each corner of the building.
Oh, that's what them is, huh?
Yeah. And in each one of those cupolas is a guard with a gun. That's 4 pretty good reasons to keep you from going over that fence, huh?
Yeah. Well, here we are.
Oh, boy. Oh. Hi there. Open up. We got business with the warden.
What kind of business, mister?
Official business. We're bringing good news for one of your boarders. Ever see anything like this before?
Yep. That's from the governor's office. It's got his seal on it. It's all right, I guess. What's your names?
Name's Cassidy. They call me Hopalong. This is California Carlson.
Heard of you fellas. All right, give me your guns and I'll open the gates and you can go on in.
Thanks. Here's mine.
Here you are, feller.
Yeah, thanks. You can have them back again on your way out. Wait a second now, and I'll get the gates for you. There, go on in.
Which way do we go?
Right over there to your left. There's a hitch rail over there. To find the warden, you take that outside staircase right next it. That's his office upstairs there. Right off the landing.
Thanks. Come on, California.
Right with you, Hoppy.
It's a big place here, isn't it? Yeah, here we are.
Yep, and I guess there's the staircase.
Yeah, might as well go up.
Sure is going to be a pleasure seeing Fred's face when he walks out of this place. It's going to be worth all the work it cost us.
It is at that. Let's see. Well, here we are. Just walk in, I guess. Warden Davis?
That's me, stranger. Come in.
Thanks. I'm Hopalong Cassidy, and this is California Carlson.
Howdy.
Here's something I think you'll be glad to see.
Oh?
Yeah, go ahead. Open it up, mister.
Why, this isn't worth the paper it's written on.
What do you mean? Why isn't it?
This is an order for the release of Fred Oakes.
Oh, certainly it is. We're taking him out of here. That's why we rode all this way, to bring you that release.
Well, you're just a matter of about 30 hours too late.
What?
Hey, what does that mean?
Means that yesterday morning, Fred Oakes broke jail.
He what?
When we get him back this time, he'll hang. You see, he not only broke jail, but in doing so, he killed one of my guards.
Now, back to Hopalong Cassidy and our story. Right rope, wrong neck. It was a shock to Hoppy to learn that his friend, Fred Oakes, whom he had cleared of a murder charge and expected to free from jail, had made a break and killed a guard in the process. Now he asks Warden Davis some pointed questions.
Warden, I don't understand this. If Fred had known he was going to be released, he'd have never tried to break jail. Why wasn't he told about it?
Told about it? How could I tell him something I didn't know myself?
Well, why didn't you know about it?
Maybe because no one saw fit to tell me.
Oh, but that's not so. Governor Martin sent a messenger as soon as he heard that California and I had evidence that would clear Fred.
Messenger?
He wanted to make sure that Fred wouldn't be executed before his release could get here.
And then all I can say is that something must have happened to the messenger. I give you my word, I knew nothing about this till just now.
Well, I don't understand this.
Neither do I. But I've told you the facts.
Maybe something happened to that feller the governor sent, Hoppy.
Well, something must have. What I want to know is whether it was an accident or something that was made to happen.
If it was something that was made to happen, then someone must have had a motive for Oak's death. Someone wanted him to hang.
Exactly. Do you know of anyone like that, Warden?
No, I don't. But you know more of his affairs than I do. Perhaps you can think of someone.
No, I can't. I can't see how anyone could have gained by it. By the way, Warden, how did Fred manage his escape?
No one seems to know. All we know is that somehow he managed to get out of his cell just before dawn.
Well, how could that be?
The first anyone knew about it was when he showed up in the yard. Then he was fired at, but he cleared the gate and got away.
Well, he must have had help.
No doubt. I'd like to know where that help came from. This is the 7th escape in the last 6 months. One more, and it'll mean my job.
But what have you done to get Fred back?
Sent two of my best men after him, Mahoney and Taggart.
Are they guards?
Yeah, they used to be deputy sheriffs. They're good men on the trail. I've ordered them not to come back without him.
I see. Then that's taken care of. California, you and I'd better get started. We got a different job to do.
Anything you say, Hoppy.
What's on your mind, Cassidy?
That messenger the governor sent here. I'm going to find out what became of him.
Hoppy! Hi there!
Hi.
I've looked everywhere for that messenger fella, Hoppy. My notion is he ain't to be found.
I've found him, California.
You have? What's he doing?
Right now, not much of anything. He's dead. You see, California? He's lying over there, and all the signs have been made to look like he'd been shot on the way to the pen.
Yeah?
But look here. This is where he was really killed. And this sign shows that he was killed while riding away from the pen. In other words, he wasn't killed till he'd been there and was already on his way back.
Then the warden lied to us.
Well, that remains to be seen. There may be another explanation.
If there is, I'd admire to hear it. I reckon we better hightail it back there and put a few more questions to that feller, Hoppy. And the sooner the better.
No, I thought so at first. Something else has occurred to me.
What's that?
Those guards Davis sent out after Fred, Mahoney and Taggart. I wonder if they catch Fred, if he'll ever get back to the pen.
What makes you say that?
Fred killed a guard, California. Might just be that they'd rather shoot him down and take him prisoner.
Yeah?
Or shoot him down afterwards and claim he tried to escape. Things like that have happened before, you know.
Darn tootin' they have. But they got a couple of days head start on us. How do we get to Fred before they do, and how do we know where to look for him anyway?
I think the first thing he'll do is try to see his wife.
Yeah, sure he will. And Mahoney and Taggart know that as well as we do.
Of course they do. But what they probably don't know is that she isn't living at Miles City any longer.
No. Where is she?
She's at Buffalo Point. She moved there right after the trial to get away from the talk. Only Fred and I knew that.
Then we head for Buffalo Point, huh?
Right. Fred will have to hide out and take a roundabout route. If we hurry, we may be able to reach there almost as soon as he does. Come on, boy. Let's go.
Oh, boy. Oh. Now, you stay right here. I got to see if Mary's to home or not. Now, don't you make no noise, fella. Mary?
Fred! Oh, Fred!
Hi there, honey.
Oh, Fred, you're back. I knew you were coming, but I never expected you this soon. Oh, darling, it's so wonderful to see you again. It's almost impossible to believe.
Yeah. But, honey, you said you knew I was coming. They don't know I was headed this way, do they?
Of course. Hoppy told me you'd come just as soon as they set you free. But I thought...
Set me free? Hey, what is this? What's all this about Hoppy and setting me free and everything? Come on, what is this?
But, Fred, Hoppy got your release.
Release? I don't know anything about any release. Look, honey, don't you know why I'm here? I'm here because I broke out.
Oh, no, Fred. No.
That's only the half of it. If they catch me this time, they'll hang me for sure, but...
Then we'll have to get out of here.
Huh?
Well, I don't know what this is all about, and I don't want to know either. All I know is that if they're after you, they're not going to get you back. Come on, Fred, help me, please. We'll get the things we need together and get out of here just as soon as we can.
Yeah, now, wait a minute. I'm heading for the border.
Well, what of it? Where else would you go?
You can't go with me.
But I am going with you. I'm not going to allow you out of my sight again. Not till I have to, anyway, and I hope I never have to. Come on, let's not argue, Fred. We haven't much time.
Hey, wait a second.
What?
Thought I heard something. You stay right there. I'll get behind the door here. If anyone comes in, you tell them that...
But someone has come in.
Why, you... Oh, it's you, Hoppy.
Yeah.
I was afraid... Oh, look, Hoppy, you're just in time. I'm plenty glad to see you. I got to head for the border. Mary's coming with me. I can't wait around.
Wait a second. Not so fast, Fred.
Huh?
Before we go any further, I'd like to ask you one question.
What's that?
Did you kill that guard at the penitentiary?
Yeah. Yeah, I killed him, Hoppy, but I couldn't help it. You got to believe me.
Sure.
I didn't even intend to kill him. It was just an accident. Hey, what kind of a joke is this, Hoppy? What's that gun for?
I'm sorry, Fred, but I'm taking you back.
Oh, you don't mean that.
I do mean it.
I thought you were my friend.
But I am your friend.
That's what you say. From where I stand, you look more like a dirty dog.
Fred, I feel like a dog. But you've killed a man, and you'll have to pay for it.
Now, back to Hopalong Cassidy and our story. Right rope, wrong neck. When Hoppy arrested him for the murder of the guard at Battery Rock, Fred Oakes was bitter in his denunciation of his one-time friend. But Hoppy felt that he had no choice, that he was only doing what his duty demanded. Shortly afterwards, they started on the return journey to Battery Rock, accompanied by California. And now we see them early in the morning after they've made their first camp.
California.
Yeah, Hoppy?
I think today we'll cut a little farther over to the north to avoid the main trails.
Why?
I don't want to take a chance on running into Mahoney and Taggart. I wouldn't be surprised if they weren't too far away from us right now.
Neither would I, Hoppy. I think you get the right idea.
Well, why so anxious to dodge him?
Well, if they take you in, Fred, I'm not so sure you'll reach the pen alive. They're guards. And after all, you killed a guard, you know.
Oh.
The way things are, if we run into them, they'll have the authority to take over.
Yeah, they would.
California and I wouldn't have any right to refuse to give you up. So it's better to dodge them.
Yeah, I get the idea now.
We'll be on our way pretty soon. But first, there's some things I'd like to ask you.
Yeah? What?
For one, how'd you ever get out of your cell?
Hoppy, you'll likely not believe this, but for the life of me, I don't know. Somebody unlocked that cell during the night while I was asleep. When I woke up just before sunup, I found the door unlocked and a gun sitting inside.
I can believe you all right. In other words, someone was trying to frame you.
Well, maybe.
Well, who would want to frame you? Who'd have a reason?
I don't know, Hoppy.
The warden and I were discussing that.
Hoppy, up until I made this break, I never figured I had an enemy in the world. It's a cinch nobody stands to gain anything by seeing me killed.
I don't know. It's got me stumped.
Well, you won't get any help from me. I can't give it to you.
Well, you would if you could, I know. Well, there's something else.
What's that, Hoppy?
I've known you for a long time, Fred. I've always figured you to be pretty level-headed. What made you kill that guard?
I didn't mean to, Hoppy. I told you that.
But still you did. How come?
Well, it happened just when I was making for the gate. He popped up in front of me right out of nowhere. All I did was fire over his head to scare him.
Yeah.
You see, he'd started to aim at me with that shotgun he was carrying.
How'd you know you killed him? You didn't stop to examine him, did you?
No, I just happened to look back when I topped the gate. Could tell from the way he was lying on his back that he must have been dead.
Mm-hmm. Well, anyway, I don't... Hey, wait a second. I thought you told me that when you tried to fire over his head, he was aiming at you.
He was. Just starting to, I mean.
Then how come he was lying on his back?
Huh?
Hey, I think you see what you're getting at, Hoppy.
Of course. If you'd hit him from in front, he should have been lying on his face.
How come?
It'll happen that way 99 times out of 100. I've never seen an exception. He shouldn't have been lying on his back unless you shot him there.
But I'm telling you the truth, Hoppy. He was facing me. He had his...
Of course you're telling the truth. As long as you've admitted killing him, what reason would you have for lying? But you didn't kill him.
What?
Someone else must have. Someone who shot him in the back.
Say, you think that can be so, Hoppy?
It must be. Was anyone else firing at the time?
Yeah, but it was dark, so I couldn't see just who was and who wasn't, Hoppy. But it sounded to me right then like everything was aimed in my direction.
Then anyone might have done it. I'm not taking you back to the pen.
I don't understand,
This
Hoppy.
changes things. If you didn't kill that guard, I want to find out who did before they get their hands on you. You get aboard that horse of yours, Fred, and we'll...
And if he does, I'll blast him right off it again.
What is this?
Come on, Mahoney. You're all under arrest, all three of you.
You're Taggart and Mahoney.
That's right, I'm Taggart. Who are you two?
My name's Cassidy, and this is California Carlson. We were
Not interested in faked explanations, Cassidy. You and Carlson under arrest for planning to help this killer to escape. Hey, what in blazes?
Next time you try to arrest anyone, you'd better take their guns, Taggart. I'm told you and Mahoney are ex-deputies. You should have known better.
You won't get far, Cassidy. We're not going to stay.
We're not going anyplace.
Huh?
We're going to Battery Rock with you.
What's the idea?
We don't mind going with you. We just don't care about going under arrest, that's all, Taggart. And as long as you're taking Fred, we want to go with you. We figure that way Fred will have a better chance of getting to Battery Rock alive. Any objections?
Do us any good if we made any?
None at all.
And we won't make none. But you'll be sorry for this, Cassidy. Wait and see if you ain't.
I'm not interested in putting you and Carlson under arrest, Cassidy.
Thanks, Warden.
Now, as a matter of fact, from what you've told me, I agree with you that Oakes may not be guilty. A jury isn't likely to agree with you, though.
It very likely wouldn't.
You won't be able to clear Oakes this time unless you can show who did kill that guard.
I agree with you.
Which still leaves us with the problem of trying to figure who could gain anything by doing Oakes harm.
Does it, Warden?
Well, doesn't it?
I've been thinking this over, Warden. I've got a hunch we've been attacking this whole problem from the wrong angle. I don't think anyone cared what happened to Fred.
Then why was that messenger killed? Whoever killed him wanted Oakes hung, didn't they?
I don't think so. I think they merely wanted Fred to believe he was going to be hanged.
Why?
So when he got a chance, he'd make a break.
But I still say why.
So that guard could be murdered under cover of that break.
Say, maybe you're right. They
didn't want Fred killed. They wanted to kill the guard. Fred was just going to be the goat. Say, have you got a file on that guard, Warden? What was his name?
Jackson. Yeah, just a second. Yes, I have his file right over here. Won't take a second here. It'll have quite a bit of information about him, of course. We always keep it. Cassidy.
What? What is it?
It's gone. Jackson's file is gone.
California.
Hoppy, what is it?
I'm riding to Cedar Butte. You stay here and keep an eye on Fred.
How long you going to be gone?
I don't know. A couple of days at least, maybe longer.
What you going for?
To look up Jackson's background. He's that dead guard. He came from Cedar Butte. Maybe they can tell me what I want to know over there.
What's that?
Tell you when I get back. I'm in a hurry. Come on, Topper.
Oh, but Hoppy, wait. Doggone. When that Hoppy's in a hurry, he sure ain't going to be hindered. Doggone. Doggone, Warden. I don't know what's happened to Hoppy. All I know is the same as you do, that he's been gone a week, and he said he'd likely be gone only a couple of days.
Something must have happened to him.
Maybe it has, but...
But it hasn't.
Hoppy. Well, we was...
It's gone longer than I expected. Because after going to Cedar Butte, I had to go on to the state capitol. Warden, I found out plenty.
Huh? What's that?
Well, in the first place, Jackson wasn't the guard after all. He only pretended to be.
Huh?
And his name wasn't Jackson. It was Mason.
I don't get it.
You weren't supposed to. Jackson or Mason or whatever his name was sent here by the governor. You remember all those escapes you told me about?
Yes.
Well, the governor sent Jackson here to find out who was behind them.
Why wasn't I told that?
Because for all the governor knew, you might have been behind them.
Oh, that's nonsense. Who was?
We don't know. But it's pretty obvious now that the man Jackson was after found out about it and framed Fred's escape so he'd have a chance to kill him, with Fred getting the blame.
Yeah, then we're no closer to knowing who he is than we were before.
But I think we are.
Huh? How come?
Jackson knew who engineered those escapes. He named the man in his last report. That report never reached the governor.
It didn't?
Either the man he was after destroyed it, or else...
Or else what?
Or else it's still hidden somewhere in Jackson's quarters. He would have kept it hidden somewhere, of course, till he had a chance to send it out. And the man who killed him may never have found it.
Well, I'll have a look for it immediately.
But I thought California and I would...
No. This is my job, Cassidy. I'll look for it.
All right, you do that, Warden. Let us know what you find.
There he is, Hoppy. There's Warden Davis coming out of Jackson's cottage right now. What are we going to do to him?
Wait a second.
He's lighting a match.
Wants to see what he's got. Yeah, he's looking at some papers, California.
He's going to set fire to him.
Come on. Hold on there.
Hey, what?
Grab him, California.
Hold still, you varmint. I got you. I got him, Hoppy. Well, I'll be doggone. It's you.
Now, back to Hopalong Cassidy.
Yeah, what's going on here? Look here, Cassidy, what is this?
California just grabbed off the man we want, Warden.
Huh?
He thought at first it was you. When we got up close, we found out different.
Taggart. Why, it's Taggart.
Sure it is. He gave himself away by stealing Jackson's report and trying to destroy it.
You'd never have caught me, Cassidy, if Jackson hadn't left this report around. I should have looked for it before.
If you had, you'd never have found it, Taggart. You there. Take this fellow away. Lock him up.
I'll do that. Come on, Taggart. This is going to be a pleasure.
Cut! Oh, this was a clever capture, Cassidy. What I don't understand is how Taggart knew we were looking for that report. I thought all along I'd kept it a secret.
Not in a penitentiary, Warden. You were forgetting the prison grapevine. And that was what I was banking on.
Oh, yes. Yes, of course. But tell me, what did you mean when you said he wouldn't have found that report even if he had looked for it before? Surely, if it's been there all the time.
But it hasn't.
What?
I needed that report to make the man we wanted betray himself. As soon as he heard about it, he figured he'd have to find it and destroy it.
Yes, I understand, but...
There's one thing he didn't know.
What was that?
Jackson had nothing to do with it. I wrote that report myself.
You... Well, I'll...
Don't trouble to express yourself, Warden. Come on, California. Let's be on our way.
Yeah.
Well, with a little manipulating, it looks like Hoppy finally measured the rope for the right neck. The next time we meet Hoppy and his sidekick, California, we find them driving 10,000 head of cattle to market. But before they complete their mission, they run into plenty of trouble at the hands of a rival outfit. That is, until Hoppy finds out who caused the stampede at Semple's Crossing. Don't miss this next Hopalong Cassidy adventure. Hopalong Cassidy, starring William Boyd, is transcribed and produced in the West by Walter White, Jr. Right Rope, Wrong Neck was written by Gibson Scott Fox, with original music under the personal direction of Albert Glasser. All stories are based upon the characters created by Clarence E. Mulford. This is a Commodore production.
From the library of radio programs of many years ago, Heroes of the Old West live again on Sagebrush Theater. With action and suspense out of the Old West comes the most famous hero of them all, Hopalong Cassidy. William Boyd as Hopalong Cassidy, and Andy Clyde as California.
We call this adventure California or Bust because that's exactly the way it was, as you'll soon find out. Everything started in the Buffalo Ridge jail, where the law was holding young Tom Anders for the murder of Clete Mapes. There were some of us who believed Tom was innocent, and for a time it looked as if we could prove it. That was why I'd gone to the jailhouse to buttonhole the sheriff.
You mean that, Hoppy? California's really on the way here with evidence that'll clear Tom?
He says it will, Sheriff. That's the message he sent me by Shorty Saunders. California's just coming in. He's been up on our North Range for the last month or two. When he gets here, I hope we'll be taking Tom out of jail.
Hoppy, I hope so, too.
Yeah? Surprised to hear you say that, Sheriff. You're the man that arrested him.
Well, because the evidence said I had to.
Uh-huh.
I still ain't seen no evidence says I was wrong, but just the same, Well, I don't know, Hoppy. When you've been along dog long as I have, you've got a feeling about these things.
Sure, I know what you mean.
But California better not fool around any getting here. Just 1 hour from now, I got to take Tom back over to the courthouse. Today's the day Judge Blackburn's going to pronounce sentence, you know.
Yeah, I know. That's why I got here so fast.
Yeah, the way Tom's had it figured, Hoppy, it was Barron rigged this charge against him.
Oh? How's he figure that?
Well, Cleet Mapes, the feller Tom's supposed to have killed, was one of Barron's line riders. The feller Tom says never got along very well with Barron.
Barron's been after that place of Tom's, hasn't he, Sheriff?
Yeah. He cuts Barron off from the winter range. Tom's been refusing to sell it at Barron's price, and the way Tom figures, Barron decided the cheapest way to get his place would be to frame him for murder.
Uh-huh. And you go along with that?
Well, I don't know. All I know is it makes sense, kind of. And then there's this feeling I got that maybe Tom ain't guilty after all.
I see.
Besides, I guess I'm feeling a little sorry for Tom on account of his brother, too.
You mean Andy?
Yep. They've been on the out, you know, but Tom's been hoping this fix he's in and bring Andy around to side with him. So far, he's never showed up, though.
And Andy works for Barron, too, doesn't he?
No, Hoppy. He used to.
What's that? Andy, what do you...
I mean that, Hoppy. He used to work for Barron. For my money, he's a crook, and I've told him so. Now I'm on Tom's side, just like you are.
Good boy.
Wait a second, Andy. Do you know anything that'd prove Barron framed Tom?
I'm sorry, Sheriff, but I don't. It's just that I've noticed things. Nothing that'd do for evidence at all.
Oh.
Well, that's all right. As soon as California gets here, we'll clear this.
I'm sorry, but that's the other reason I'm here, Hoppy.
Huh? What do you mean?
I was supposed to tell you. California's disappeared.
Oh, Andy, you don't...
Your Bar 20 boys been out looking for him, Hoppy. You see, California's horse showed up all alone without him, and now... Well, now California just ain't to be found.
Order in this court, order. Now then, the jury has found the prisoner, Thomas Anders, guilty, and it's my duty to pass sentence. In judgment of this court...
Just a minute, Your Honor. I think there's good reason why you shouldn't pass sentence at this time. And with Your Honor's permission, I'd like to tell you what that reason is.
Order! 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 I demand order here. This is highly irregular, Mr. Cassidy, but this is a court of justice, not of technicalities. So if you have something to say that bears on this case, I'll be glad to hear it. Do you have?
I do. Your Honor's acquainted with California Carlson?
I know him. Yes, I might say I'm acquainted with him. What about it?
Your Honor, he's disappeared.
What?
He was on his way here to give testimony I have reason to believe would have cleared Tom, but something's happened to him. I'm not accusing anyone of foul play, but I do move that sentence be deferred till he can be found.
I protest that, Your Honor. Silence! 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 Or I'll have this court cleared. Now then, on what grounds do you protest this request, Mr. Barron?
On the grounds that this is just one of Cassidy's tricks to gain time to engineer a jailbreak. If you play into his hands, Your Honor...
If I do, Mr. Barron, that will be a matter between me and my conscience and none of your affair. On the other hand, Mr. Cassidy, before I could delay sentence, I'd have to have some proof that Carlson's testimony would be of the nature that you claim. Can you give me such proof?
Well, no. Only my word, Your Honor.
Well, good enough for me as a man, Mr. Cassidy, but not as a judge. I'm sorry, but your request is denied.
But, Your Honor...
Denied, Mr. Cassidy. If you persist, you will be in contempt of court. Silence! Silence! Now then, the prisoner will please rise and stand facing the bar. Thank you. It is my duty to pass sentence on you, Thomas Anders. Therefore, I now remand you back into the custody of the sheriff to be held by the sheriff till the morning of the second day hereafter, when it shall be his duty to hang you by the neck until dead. And may God have mercy on your soul.
Report dismissed.
Hold, boy. Hold it. Hoppy! Hey, Hoppy, over here!
Hello there, Andy. Yeah, I've been looking for you, Andy. Town's filling up with Barron's men. I'm going out on the trail. I want to find the place where California and his horse got separated. You want to help me?
Of course. It'll be helping Tom, won't it?
Right. I'm going to round up the Bar 20 boys and go back out the Clover Creek Trail. You might have tried to get into town that way. If you want to help, you can go back over the main trail. My boys might have missed something.
I'll do that.
If you find anything, let me know.
Sure will. Better get started, hadn't we?
Right now. See you later. Let's go, Topper.
Good luck, Hoppy.
Nothing I can find, Mac.
Oh, whoa there, boy.
Where are the rest of the boys?
Well, I told them to scatter. They're working them draws. Well, who's this coming?
Looks like Andy.
Yeah, I reckon it is. He's pushing his horse kind of hard for this kind of country, ain't he? I wonder what's up.
I'm hoping he's got news. Hi there, Andy.
Hi. Find anything?
Yeah, I found a little, Andy, but it petered out on us.
Over there. Found something. What was that?
Well, Mac here found the place where California hit it tough. Looks like he saw you were going to be jumped, so he left the saddle and took the cover. Must have been some shooting, though. That's why his horse got scared off. I guess he had to give up. But where they took him, we can't find out. Followed the trail a little way, but like I said, it petered out on us.
Wait a second, Hoppy. How many would you say was in that bunch that jumped him?
Well, it looked to me like there must have been 3 of them. Wouldn't you say that, Mac?
Yeah, there was 3, all right. And when they left the trail, we could see where one of them was riding double.
Yeah.
Say, his company must have been California. Well, but we lost them again.
Then I think I know where they are.
You sure of that, Andy?
You know old Perkins, the old gaffer homestead near the foot of the mules?
Yeah, I know him.
Well, Perkins claims he'd seen California and 3 other fellas riding toward old Fort Hooker, and one of them riding double. Well, I thought he was local, but now darned if I don't think he really saw him.
Wait a minute. That fits. Fort Hooker's been abandoned. Should make a good hideout. Andy, you got to do me a favor.
What's that?
Get over to the fort right away. Keep watch on it. See if you can spot California. Mac and I will round up the boys and follow right after.
Well, where'll I meet you?
Tin Horn Butte. That'll make a good lookout.
Right. I'll get going. Come on, boy.
Andy!
I'm glad you got here, Hoppy. They're in there. I've been keeping watch. I saw California when they locked him up. They got him in that old storehouse down there.
Hank, take the boys and get them stationed so we'll have the fort surrounded.
Right.
I want to make sure those fellas down there can't slip California away without our knowing it. Now, you got that?
Yep.
And get going. And keep out of sight.
Okay, now, but listen, Hoppy.
Don't argue, Andy. Do it my way. They haven't a chance. You got it now, boys?
Yeah, I know. Well, let's see if we have, Hoppy.
Right.
Now, we're to give you and Andy a 10-minute head start.
That's right.
That's so as you can work in close to that storehouse under cover of dark before we start doing our stuff.
Good.
Then we're to fake an attack. Not really trying anything, just make a hullabaloo so they won't know what you're doing.
That's it, Mac. You ready?
You and Andy can start any time you want. We're ready right now.
Easy now, Andy. All right, hold it.
There's the guards. They got 2 of them there. How much time we still got?
Another 10 minutes are up now. When the shooting starts, we'll make our play. Rush them and let them have it. No shooting. That's it. Come on, quick! Now! locked. I was afraid of that. Grab that tip.
Right. Here.
All right. Fast now. Give it to him. Break it down. California, where are you? California.
It's too dark. Can't see anything. They must have gagged him.
Wait a minute. I got a match. Wait. California, where? Well, I'll be...
What is it, Hoppy? What's the matter?
We've been tricked.
What?
I don't know how they did it, but they've tricked us. Take a look for yourself. He's gone.
They're coming, Hoppy. You sure he's gone?
California? Of course he is. You could see that for yourself. The place is empty.
But I don't get it.
Neither do I. All I know is we'd better be traveling or they'll get us. Come on.
Where are we going?
Back to Tin Horn Butte. We'll be lucky if we make it. Well, we got here, Andy. Come here, Topper. Come on, you better get mounted.
Right. Hold still, boy, now. Come on, hold still. What now, Hoppy? You know, this has wasted over half a day for us.
I know it has. Tom's due to hang in less than 30 hours now.
What about California? Ain't you worried about him?
Not unless Barron's a fool.
How come you figure that?
What if he keeps California alive, even if he escapes? The worst that can happen to Barron is Tom going free. But if he kills California, he'll have a murder charge hanging over him. My guess is he'll keep California alive.
Well, I thought California could pin Cleet's killing on him.
I told Judge Blackburn California could clear Tom. But there's a lot of difference between clearing one man and convicting another.
No.
But clearing Tom is good enough for me, and we'll need time for it. I'm going back to town, Andy.
Well, what for?
See if the sheriff won't postpone that hanging another 24 hours.
I'm betting he won't.
I'd bet the same way. But we need time. I got to make the try. Then we'll make another try to find California.
But how? Where is he? Where are we going to look for him?
No place.
Huh?
We've tried and failed. Now we'll try the other way around.
What do you mean?
We couldn't find California, Andy. But maybe California can find us.
What?
Never mind explanations now, Andy. I got to get going. You stay here and wait for the boys. Tell them where I've gone, will you?
Oh, yeah, but I...
See you later. Come on, Topper, let's go. Hanley?
Who's there?
That's me, Sheriff Cassidy. I want to talk to you. Hurry, open up, will you?
Well, just a second. Coming, Hoppy.
What do you want? I hated to wake you like this, Sheriff, but I had to see you. Judge Blackburn refused to delay sentencing Tom. Now I'm asking you to delay executing that sentence.
Oh, Hoppy, you know I'm on your side. I've told you so, but I can't do a thing like that, and you know it.
Why not?
Well, no authority for it. That's why not.
Give us just 24 hours. It's a matter of life and death.
I can't give you one.
But if
No
you...
use keeping on about it. No, just can't. Hey, tarnation. Now, who is this coming? Seems like there's more folks up and around at 3 in the morning than there is in the daytime.
Yeah.
Who is it?
Hoppy!
Well, that's Mac. Here I am, Mac.
Gotta see you, fellas. Both of you.
I got bad news for you both.
Mac, what is it?
Hoppy, I hate to say this, but California's dead.
No, he isn't.
He can't be, Mac. What
Sorry, Hoppy, but it's a fact. Barron killed him.
Hey, wait a second. Barron killed him, you say? You got proof of that?
Shorty Saunders will give you your proof, Sheriff. He's seen it happen.
He did?
Fact is, Barron tried to kill him. Left him for dead. He's at the bar 20 now.
He is?
Well, how he dragged himself there, I'll never know, but...
Hey, wait. Can he talk?
Well, sure he can. He told
All right,
me...
then I'm going to get out there. You fellas wait here. I'm going to dress. I'll be back immediately. You know what you're saying, Crump?
Are you sure of that? The sheriff thinks California's dead.
What I heard, he's got Shorty Saunders' word for it, Mr. Barron.
And he thinks I killed him?
That's what I heard, Mr. Barron.
It's a lie. They're framing me.
Sure. But what you going to do about it?
I don't know. Got to think this out. Where's the sheriff now, Crump? Is he coming here?
I don't think so. I think he was heading back to town first.
Cassidy's behind this. I'll bet $1 million that dirty... Wait a second. Maybe this isn't so bad after all. Now, let me think. Say, you know, Crump, maybe this isn't so bad.
What's so funny?
You know, I know a little bit more about what's going on than Cassidy thinks I do. I got an idea that this time he's played right into my hand. Let's see. Yeah. Yes, sir, he has. And now, by thunder, I'll break him.
Here's the office, Hoppy. I'll open up. Yeah? Come on, Andy. You come in, too. We got things to figure out. Go on in.
Yeah.
Don't need a lamp, I guess. It's getting light. Now, what do you figure we ought to do about this, Hoppy?
Well, if I were you, I'd get right out to Barron's place and put him under arrest.
Yeah, first off, you'd say so, but that's a long ways. And what if he ain't at his headquarters place? I don't suppose you fellows are forgetting I still got a hanging to take care of tomorrow morning, are you?
Confound it, Sheriff. You mean to say that after this you're still figuring on going through with that?
When I arrest Barron, it'll be for killing California. Tom was arrested for killing Cleet Mapes. Ain't the same thing. I don't know if they're even connected.
Listen, Sheriff,
Excuse me. Maybe I can help you fellas out.
What is
Barron?
You left the door open. So, with the way you were talking, I could hardly help hearing what you said. You won't have to come clear out to my place to arrest me, Sheriff. You can do it right here.
I will. I'm arresting you here and now.
For California's murder?
What else?
Well, I wouldn't be too hasty about it if I were you. Suppose I could prove that this is a trumped-up case against me. Suppose I could prove that it had been trumped up, and Cassidy was behind it. What then?
That ain't neither here nor there.
There it is. You haven't answered my question, Sheriff.
I'll answer you for the sake of argument. If Cassidy pulled a stunt like that, I'd jail him quick. Just as quick as I'm going to jail you.
You'd better wait a minute. All right. Bring him in, Crump.
Okay, boss. Come on, California.
Ah, there, California.
Hello, California. I'm sure glad to see you.
Well, there goes your case, Sheriff. What do you do now?
What I said I'd do. Better tell your boys the Bar 20 won't see you for a spell, Hoppy. You're under arrest.
Yeah, I heard you, Sheriff. But it looks to me like this is one of your tough days. None of your arrests seem to stick very well. I sure am glad to see you, though, California. But I'm not surprised. As a matter of fact, I've been expecting you.
Huh? You have, Hoppy?
Sure. That's what this whole thing was for. I couldn't find you, so I thought I'd turn things around and let Barron bring you to me.
That's got a funny sound to it, Hoppy. You'd better explain yourself.
Nothing I'd rather do, Barron. You see, I want you to hang in Tom's place.
What's that?
You heard me. That's why I used this crooked friend of yours to bring you and California in here.
Hey, now. You were looking right at me when you said that. What do you think...
Was I, Andy? Well, I guess that's because I meant you when I said it.
Why,
Don't try to lie out of it, Andy. I've been on you ever since we raided that fort and found California wasn't in it.
So what do you think that proved?
You said California was in there, that you'd seen him. I placed my men so that I know he couldn't have been taken away. So as far as I'm concerned, it proves you lied to me.
That's what you say.
Uh-huh, that's what I say. That's also the reason I let you think California's testimony would clear Tom, but wouldn't convict Barron.
Oh.
So that you'd tell Barron that, and he wouldn't be afraid to bring California in here.
What's California know about me?
Just that you killed Cleet, that's all, Barron. I've seen you do it.
You're lying.
Like blazes I am. I can point out the very spot.
You can?
Yeah, it was up on the North Range, Sheriff. I've been up there alone the last couple of months. Barron killed Cleet. Then he and Andy picked him up and moved him to where you found him.
Well, why didn't you report this?
Well, I've been having bad luck with horses. The horse I had up there stepped in a gopher hole and broke its leg.
Oh, too bad.
It was too far to travel anywhere for food, so the first I could get word out was when Shorty Saunders showed up with supplies for me.
Shorty brought me word, Sheriff Hanley, and I rode into town to tell Tom he didn't have to worry. Fred, I did pull one fast one on you, though, Sheriff.
Huh?
Shorty wasn't shot up like you thought. That was just bandages and a lot of red ink.
Now, you shouldn't have done that to me, Hoppy.
The only way I could smoke Barron out. I protected myself by telling Judge Blackburn what I was going to do ahead of time.
You wanted to protect yourself, Hoppy. That was the wrong way.
What the
You
hell?
should have kept your eyes on me. Now get your hands up. I'll...
No! You... Good work, California. Hope you didn't break his skull.
I kind of hope I did. But if he wanted to protect himself, he should have kept his eyes on me.
Well, there's your prisoner, Sheriff Handley.
Thanks, Hoppy. You done a real slick piece of work.
Crooks are fools, Handley.
Yeah, guess they are.
That's what makes it so easy to catch 'em. You can fool 'em so easy.
Sound off with the sounds of America. That was the starting gun for the world's greatest yachting classic, the race for the America's Cup. From 1870 to 1967, American yachts have won the famous trophy 20 times against every foreign challenger. Anybody for 21? Listen again next week at this time when Sagebrush Theater will bring you another story of the Old West, recorded from the library of radio programs of many years ago. This is the United States Armed Forces Radio Service.
Now, this is kind of a special story that I call the Santa Claus Rustlers. It began shortly before Christmas as California and I were heading back to the Bar 20 after a trail drive to southern Arizona. We were hoping to be home for the holidays, but one morning near Phoenix, my horse Topper threw a shoe, and this is what it led to.
Well, of all the darned luck, this takes the cake.
No use grumbling about it, California. Just hand me one of those spare shoes and some nails.
That's what I mean. We ain't got no spare shoes.
What? But I told you
Ain't got no nails neither.
California, what was the last thing I told you to do before we left Disney?
Get some shoes and nails and to shut up about the heat.
Well?
Now, Hoppy, remember the Christmas spirit. Besides, I didn't have no room in my saddlebags for horseshoes.
No room? Of course you got room. Now I'll have to walk Topper clear to Phoenix to get a new shoe.
Well, if it weren't for my rheumatism and my bad feet, I'd let you ride my horse, Hoppy. I'm sorry, you know that.
Sure.
Well, look, here comes a kid. Maybe there's a ranch near here where you can get a shoe.
Well, for your sake, I hope so. Hi, son.
How do yourself? What's happened to your horse? I'm running away. My name's Billy Stillwell. What's yours? Gee, ain't it hot? Want a piece of fudge? I got some here in my pocket.
Hey, take a breath.
Regular little magpie, ain't he?
I'm Hopalong Cassidy, Billy. This is my partner, California Carlson.
You running away, too?
No. Where are you headed?
I don't know. Maybe China. Maybe Phoenix. Any place where I can make some money quick. You know of anyone needing a top hand?
Top hand? Hoppy. This sprout's got man-sized idea.
I ain't as young as I look. Pop said my legs are beginning to bow already. I can earn anything that's got 4 legs. And I'll bet I can rope better than you.
Slow down, Billy. Now, let's talk about this for a minute. It's a little far to China, especially without money or food.
I got a pocket full of fudge. Want a piece?
No, thanks.
Well, now, I might just, no, thanks.
Billy, you wouldn't be running away because you disagreed with your folks about something, would you?
Oh, no. I got the best pop and mom in the whole wide world, even China. That's why I'm running away. I gotta get some money before Christmas so I can buy them some presents and a tree.
A tree? You mean a Christmas tree?
Uh-huh. They're awful sentimental, my folks. Every year they have a pine tree and presents. You know how mushy Grode folks are about things like that.
Yeah, we know, Billy.
Pop ain't had no hard money for months tonight. Hey, there comes Johnny No Name. Pop just hired him last week. Wonder what he's doing coming from that way. Hiya, Johnny.
Hi, you there. What's your business here?
Our own, you snippy young, Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, I got a bum leg, Pops. But save your pity and answer my question. My gun's in good shape.
It's a public road, son. We're heading home. Why?
Where's that?
The Bar 20.
Your names?
I'm Hopalong Cassidy.
I'm California Carlson. What's yours?
Johnny No Name, as the kid probably told you. I wouldn't wear out your brains getting curious about that, though. Curiosity makes my trigger finger itch. Now, let's have a look in those saddlebags of yours.
What's that? You ain't opening my saddlebag.
Why not, California? You've nothing to hide.
Maybe I'm just stubborn, but my saddlebags is private.
All right. I'm taking you both to the ranch. You'll open those bags there, or you won't be stubborn. You'll be dead.
Hold it. You're acting like you think we're outlaws.
There were 10 cows rustled from the east pasture of our ranch by someone. And for my money, you two are tagged as it.
Now, back to Hopalong Cassidy and our story, The Santa Claus Rustlers. On their way home, Hoppy and California are stopped near Phoenix, Arizona, first by a young boy, Billy Stillwell, who's running away. Then a bitter young rider who calls himself Johnny No Name and accuses Hoppy and California of being rustlers. At gunpoint, he takes them to the Stillwell Ranch, along with young Billy.
Darn you, Johnny. You didn't have to make me come home, too.
Shut up. Go inside and call your folks.
Billy. Oh, Billy. Billy, you scared me to death.
Oh, now, Ma, don't take on so.
Oh,
I ain't hurted none. I just wanted to make some money so you could have a tree for Christmas.
All right, kid, all right. Get your pop.
Well, what is it, Johnny? Who are these men?
Call themselves Cassidy and Carlson, but I'm tabbing them as a pair of rustlers. We lost 10 cows this morning.
No. Oh, no. Billy, do like Johnny said.
Sure, Ma.
Mrs. Stillwell, I can prove who and what we are.
Time for that when my husband Amos gets here. You may as well get down, Johnny.
Can I give you a hand, fella?
I don't need help to get off my horse. Get away from me, I'll blow your head off.
I got your gun, Johnny. Now, you young polecat,
California, give it back to him.
What? But, Hoppy, you heard him. He'll blow my head off.
Give it back.
Sure. But it's going to make me feel like an idiot if he shoots me with it. Here, you drop this.
Yeah, thanks.
You're welcome, I'm sure. More so if you'll point it in some other direction than my wishbone. I'm the nervous kind.
If Mr. Stillwell gives me the word, I'll see you have reason to be.
Here's your papers, Mr. Cassidy. Looks like Johnny got ahead of himself.
No harm done, Mr. Stillwell. And thanks for letting California shoe my horse while we've talked.
I think an apology would be in order from you, Johnny.
I don't make apologies to anyone.
Well, then I'll apologize for him. He's got a bad streak. Guess he feels the world's against him on account of that bum leg. He tries to hate everybody.
That's a lot of hate. A man can get sick doing that.
Yeah. Well, I suppose I can't complain, no. Johnny's the only rider I've found who'll work for delayed wages.
Well, maybe he has a reason. This rustling hit you hard?
Yeah, hard enough. Not only me, but my partners.
Partners?
Yeah, I guess I'd better explain. It's an unusual setup. When I bought this ranch a few years ago, I only had enough left over to buy 50 head of stock. So Ma and Betty, my daughter, they agreed to sacrifice something to help me get a herd.
You got a fine family.
Yeah, I sure have. Ma sold her heirlooms, and Betty gave up going east to school. You see, I'd set aside a little money regular for her to do that. But when the pinch came, Betty tossed it into the pot without even asking me.
I see.
And we like to consider the herd as belonging to each of us in equal shares. Makes Ma and Betty feel like they have a part in things.
And Billy might become a partner when he grows up. Well, if there's anything left.
I'd like to get my hands on the rustlers who'd steal from a family like yours just before Christmas.
Yeah, I guess our holidays ain't going to be too bright. No trees, no presents. Nothing but a little good wishing.
Market's too low to sell now.
Sure, that's it. Cows are bringing a bare $10 a head. If we can just hold out till spring, well, we can get double that. If it was just me, I'd sell a few, but I got to think of the others. No, I reckon this Christmas will just be a poor one.
Hoppy, darn it all, if we keep fooling around trying to track down these rustlers, we're going to miss Christmas at home.
You can go ahead if you want to, California. Me, I've got a mad on.
Yeah, I know. Stealing from nice folks like them Stillwells, it's downright wrong. What polecat would be mean enough Hoppy, I know a polecat who'd be...
So do I. Let's not go jumping at any conclusions yet. Uh-oh.
What's the matter?
Look, the tracks of the rustled cattle lead right into those other tracks. We've lost them.
Hello there. What do you think you're doing?
What? Oh, well, I guess you must be Betty Stillwell.
So you're a good guesser. Answer me.
Well, give us a chance. We're trailing some cattle that were rustled from you.
Anybody ask you to?
Well, as a matter of fact, yes. Your father. My name's Cassidy. This is California Carlson.
Oh. So you must think I'm pretty awful jumping on you like that. Reckon I'm edgy.
You knew about the cattle?
Oh, Johnny rode over to tell me about them this morning. I was banding some calves on the North Range.
You was, what? But you're a girl.
Oh, I'll bet you I can beat you at calf roping, grizzle puss.
Grizzle puss? Grizzle puss? Why, darn it all, I shaved only last week. And there ain't no gal who can beat me calf roping. The day a gal does that, I'll shave clear down to the skin. No. Hoppy, do I have to?
That was the bargain, Grizzle Puss. And she beat you by 10 seconds.
I know, but Hoppy, how did I know she was a rodeo champion?
Shave.
Yeah, but I'll feel naked.
Do I tell them back at the bar 20 that a girl beat you at, see you at dinner.
Ouch. Ooh. Ain't no reason for a man to have to do this nohow. It's plumb brutal. Doggone me, if I cut myself once more, my face is going to fall apart.
Why don't you try salt on them whiskers with Applejack? Heard about your match with Betty. You catch them rustlers? She beat you by 10 seconds, huh? Look out, you're cutting yourself.
Ouch. Thanks for telling me. Yeah, Betty beat me by 10 seconds. No, we didn't catch no rustlers. And why don't you go kiss a rattlesnake?
Say, you're a gabby one, ain't you? Pass the soap. Ma, I'm sorry about making you worry today. Pass the fritters. I just wanted to get some presents in a tree. How about you, Johnny? You getting presents?
Presents. That's all any of you think about. Look, do me a big favor. Skip me on this malarkey. I'm past believing in Santa Claus.
Well, gee, if we had a tree and presents and a party like we usually do, you'd see Johnny. And only Santa Claus. Besides, I'm going to give you a present.
You what? What for?
'Cause I like you, I guess. Don't you like me?
Why? All this drivel makes me...
Well, gee.
Mrs. Stillwell, maybe there's something we can do. After all, a tree isn't much.
Oh, Jake Hammer freights them in from the mountains at $10 apiece. We don't have 10 cents, and we don't hold with borrowing or charity. Thanks, just the same, Mr. Cass.
I wish we had the cows back that were rustled. They'd pay for a tree and plenty of presents.
Mr. Stillwell, about that rustling, do you suspect any of your neighbors?
Well, no. They're nice folks, most of them.
But not all. I have an idea whoever's behind this rustling will strike again if we don't stop him.
Yeah, that makes it tough. We've only got a small herd, but it's scattered all over a lot of range. As you could tell, it takes plenty of this scrubby land to feed one cow. And with only Ma and me and Betty and Johnny, well, we just can't protect them.
You mean Mrs. Stillwell rides herd?
Sure I do. In betwixt getting food ready, that is. We make out all right. At least we did until them cow thieves began.
And that's why we appreciate your help, Mr. Cassidy. But, of course, you have your own business to attend to, so I guess you'll be...
We'll stick for a while and forget the wages. If we can make your holidays better by recovering your cattle, that'll be pay enough.
You have more to recover than you think.
Hey, Betty girl, where have you been? Supper's nearly cold.
I took a turn through Gopher Basin, Pa. That bunch of cows there was left alone too long. The rustlers have hit us again.
Now, back to Hopalong Cassidy and our story, The Santa Claus Rustlers. Trying to track down the rustlers preying on the Stillwell family, Hoppy and California lost the trail of the rustled herd. But that same evening, Betty Stillwell came in with the news that the rustlers had struck again. The family, despondent at the prospect of a Christmas without a tree or present, react in grim determination.
Billy, put down that rifle.
Oh, but, Pop, I'm a-going with you.
You're a-going to stay here and take care of the ranch.
Yes, Mom.
Ma, you and Betty ought to stay here, too. Now, there's likely to be a passel of shooting if we catch up with them rustlers.
I stood beside you to fight Injuns, Amos Stillwell, and I reckon the same applies to low-down cow thieves.
Where's Johnny No Name? He claimed to be good with a gun.
I saw him taking off for town. He said he was going to pickle Santa Claus.
If that ain't like the darn varmint. Got plenty of meanness, except when we need a little.
Never mind, California. Let's go, Mr. Stillwell.
Yeah.
Hoppy, this trailing by moonlight just don't get it. We've lost the tracks 8 times already. Oh, let's go back.
I know. I'm worried about having the women folk with us, too. When we hit those rocks ahead of us, we're not only going to lose the trail for good, but we're going to be in danger of an ambush.
Cassidy, you thinking what I'm thinking?
I'm afraid so.
What are you afraid of? Oh!
Sam, take cover. Behind those rocks.
Get down. Oh, you and Betty sneak back as soon as that cloud crosses the moon. Now, this time I'm ordering. Ma, please go back. For me, honey.
Betty, you got any spare shells? Sure, Ma, here. I wish Johnny was here. He'd save us.
I ain't so sure that he ain't here.
Stillwell, you notice where those shots went?
And I was too busy ducking. Why?
Either that rifleman is the world's worst shot or we're only being warned not to go on. He missed us by 50 yards.
Yeah, well, he'll wish he'd hit us before I get through with him. If Ma wasn't with us, we could... I reckon they've got us outnumbered, eh, Cassidy? We'd best go back.
Go back? Why, Hoppy, we can... hey, you poked me.
Yeah, you're right. We have to go back.
You and Betty go on inside. Cassidy, you're not dismounting, are you? What are you planning?
That rifleman is long gone by now. We're just taking a little jaunt into town.
Oh, I think I savvy what's biting you. Only I hope you're wrong somehow.
Perhaps I am. The only way is to find out for sure. Adios.
Hoppy, now will you kindly tell me what for we let that low-down ambusher get away without a fight?
Didn't you see the look in Mrs. Stillwell's eyes? If we hadn't gotten her away fast, she'd have charged that rifleman single-handed.
Sure, Gorm here. I bet you're right. Say, I'll bet she made some Injun fighters.
I have a feeling we'll find our bushwhacker in town anyway. We'll make a stop at the livery stable first. Then Johnny No Name is going to do a little talking.
Hoppy, now we know that Johnny No Name was riding hard and late, and his gun's been shot recently.
It looks plenty bad for him, but we'll see. Here's the hotel. Man at the livery stable said he was in room 2.
Shouldn't we get the sheriff, Hoppy?
Not yet. I want some answers first. Yeah, here it is.
Yeah, what? Cassidy. Now, leave me alone.
Back up, Johnny. It's time to break down and tell me all your little secrets.
You can't threaten me.
Want to bet? Well, we've been doing some shopping, huh?
Hoppy, he's bought new boots. And look it, a rifle and a gold watch. He sure didn't wait long to spend the money.
Let me see those boots.
Get away from them. They're mine. I paid for them.
Nice leather. You've been spending a lot of money for a rider who's working for delayed wages.
What business is it of yours what I spend?
None. But those slugs you threw around this evening are.
You can't prove a thing.
Can't I? I think this little visit has told me nearly all I want to know. Come on, California. See you back at the ranch, Johnny.
You keep quiet about this, Cassidy, or...
What's the matter, California?
Hoppy, sometimes you make me so mad I could bite through a cinch ring. We go in there to brace that ornery coyote for being a low-down bushwhacker.
Oh, he's the one who took those shots at us, all right.
Then you say as nice as you please, see you back at the... He is. Oh, now, Hoppy, will you make up your mind? I'm gonna go back there.
Oh, no, you won't, California. I think I know what's going on and who's behind it. But I don't have any real proof. So we're gonna wait and let it come to us.
But Johnny knows we're onto him now. I suppose you think there's gonna be another rustle.
Exactly.
Another rustling. And so what do? We sit here stringing popcorn.
And eating it. Besides, we tracked the rustler, didn't we?
That's what's driving me loco. Sure, we tracked him. Right back to the ranch here. And as if he was smart about it. In fact, he's about the stupidest rustler I ever saw.
Maybe. Finish that string.
What are we waiting for? We can hang Johnny today.
I guess maybe we could at that.
Well, then what in thunderation are we doing here?
Stringing popcorn. Ready to start another string?
I'm darn near ready to start the Civil War.
Stick to the popcorn. These strings have to be ready in time for the party tonight.
Yeah. And speaking about the party, that mesquite bush Mrs. Stillwell fixed up sure don't look like no Christmas tree. Couldn't we sneak off and get a pine tree from Jake Hammer?
I talked to him yesterday while we were in town buying our gifts. He doesn't have any good ones left.
Gosh, no presents, except ours. No Christmas tree. Nothing but rustling and more rustling. I know one way I can brighten up the Stillwells' Christmas party. I'll sing for 'em.
You what?
Sing for 'em. You know, Christmas songs and all kinds of...
California, you ruin their party with that noise you call singing, and I'll see that you wash every dish afterwards by yourself. Now, what do you think of that?
Pass the popcorn.
Amos, it's dark. Instead of just sitting on the porch, don't you think you ought to take a walk before the party?
Just the thing, Ma.
I guess I better go tell Johnny to hurry up.
Yeah. Maybe I'd better take a check on the horses.
Have some more popcorn, Mr. Carlson?
Well, yeah, thanks. Don't mind if I do.
California, you're going to turn into a popcorn bull if you don't stop.
Now it's Christmas time. Let him eat all he wants. Well, I think I'll go look in on the hens.
Yeah, well, California and I are going to slick up a bit, aren't we?
You go ahead, Hoppy. I already... why, yeah, sure. Mr. Stillwell.
Take a handful of popcorn with you.
Now, if you insist, that's a good idea. Let's go, Hoppy, huh?
After all the popcorn you ate this afternoon, how can you eat more?
'Cause I like it. Say, ain't this slick? Everybody getting out of the house at once. Now we can put our gifts under the tree and surprise them.
This party may be a surprise in lots of ways. We're setting a trap in the Stillwell house.
What? A trap?
Yeah, we'll sneak back into the house as soon as we can. If I'm right, we'll catch those rustlers red-handed tonight.
Well, I'm ready for them. But gosh, it's dark in the parlor here.
Keep that lamp ready to light when I say to.
Sure. Say, Hoppy, can I even sing one little song at the party?
No. Quiet. Someone's coming in.
Someone else is coming in the other way.
Wait, California, there's more. Now, California, we've caught our rustlers.
Now, back to Hopalong Cassidy.
Great green-eyed bingo. Hoppy, it's a forest.
3 rustlings, 3 trees, plus the one Billy brought.
Jake Hammer's going to work out the price of this one. I didn't rustle no... Oh, my gosh, in the morning. You mean it?
That's right, Billy. Your folks and your sister are the Santa Claus rustlers. Each one took from his own share of the herd.
Well, I'd have told about it after the surprise.
Sure, so would your partners, Betty.
Well, I didn't want Ma and you to suffer the penalty of the low cattle market, Betty.
You all thought alike, Mr. Stillwell. The fact that each rustling was the same size gave me a hunch. And Jake Hammer confirmed it when he told me how each of you bought a tree. Then I checked the stores. For people with no money, you spent plenty.
But, Hoppy, what about that Johnny No-Name?
His shooting was only to warn us back. He was afraid we'd discover what he knew, that Betty took that Gopher Basin herd.
But those things he bought in town.
They look like gifts to me. But let's ask him.
I heard. Thanks for backing me, Mr. Cassidy.
Come in, Johnny. But better leave the tree. It's kind of crowded. I knew you had a change of heart when I saw those boots you bought. They were way too small for you.
They're for me. I'll bet they're for me. Ain't they, Johnny?
Yeah, kid, they're for you. But before I give any presents, y'all should know I'm Johnny Bent, son of an outlaw.
Was it outlaw money you spent on those presents?
Oh, no, sir. It was honest. Every penny of it.
Well, then get Billy his boots before he busts the valve. And if you got any more money, maybe we'll talk about letting you into our partnership. This ranch is kind of short on cows right now.
Gosh, Hoppy, this is going to be some swell Christmas party. I sure wish you'd let me sing for everybody.
California, I warned you.
Why, that sounds wonderful. Go ahead, Mr. Carlson.
Yes, go ahead, California.
Come on now.
You see, Hoppy, they want me.
Oh, all right. Hand me the popcorn bowl and go ahead.
Here we go. Me.
California, what's the matter?
That popcorn. My voice is ruined.
There's only one thing left to say. Merry Christmas.
Merry
Christmas, everybody.
Merry Christmas.
Well, that sure was an extra special Christmas story about real nice people with a lot of real Christmas spirit. And just as Hoppy said, there's only one thing left to say. Merry Christmas, everybody. Merry Christmas. With action and suspense out of the Old West comes the most famous hero of them all, Hopalong Cassidy, starring William Boyd. The ring of the silver spurs heralds the most amazing man ever to ride the prairies of the early West, Hopalong Cassidy, the same Hoppy you cheer in motion pictures, and the same California you've laughed at a million times. Raw courage and quick shooting have built a legend around this famous hero. Hopalong is a name to be feared, respected, and admired, for this great cowboy rides the trails of adventure and excitement. William Boyd as Hopalong Cassidy, and Andy Clyde as California. Well, Hoppy, what's your story for today?
We call this one Cowtown Troubleshooters. But the day California and I rode into Mesa Junction, we weren't thinking about trouble. We'd had a long 3 days in the saddle, and all we were interested in was a chance to wash the trail dust off and get into some fresh clothes.
I tell you, Hoppy, it just don't seem possible a town could have grown so much in the years since we was here last.
It beats anything I ever saw, California. I guess it just proves what a railroad line will do for a town.
Yeah? Why, I bet you there's twice as many stores and offices along Main Street here as there was a year ago.
Sure.
And looky, the hotel's been painted. Outside looks good.
Yeah, so I see. But I'm just hoping they got a room with a couple of good beds on the inside.
Yeah. You know, every time I leave the Bar 20 bunkhouse, I wish there was some way to pack my own mattress along. Speaking of the Bar 20, you reckon we'll find out if Buck can get a good enough price for his stock to make it worthwhile driving it this far?
Maybe. With two companies here in the cattle buying business and with the railroad connections they got now, Mesa Junction seems like the place to drive them.
Well, it shouldn't take long to find out, I guess.
Yeah. First, we'll tie up and see about that room.
Suits me. Wonder what's going on in front of the saloon down the street there.
Hard to tell. Probably just an argument of some kind. Come on.
Oh, boy. Sure feels good to stretch your legs again, don't it?
Sure does.
Well, howdy, gents. Just get in town?
That's right. You got a room for us?
Sure thing, cowboy. Got a nice room at the back where it's good and quiet. Let's see now, number 12 it is.
That'll be fine.
You can sign for both if you want to.
All right. There you are.
Cassidy and Carlson from the Bar 20 Ranch.
I'm Cassidy. Hoppy, most folks call me, and this is California Carlson. Can you see that our horses are taken care of?
Sure can. Well, here's your key. Room 12, straight down the hall there.
Fine.
Rose! Any idea where the sheriff is?
Why, no. What's the matter?
There's trouble brewing out in front of the saloon. Pete Foley's trying to pick a fight with Wayne Carter.
Oh, Pete's always trying to do that.
I know it, but this time Foley means business. He's liable to kill that Carter fella.
That was a shot.
Come on, let's see what's going on out there.
Now, back to Hopalong Cassidy and our story, Cowtown Troubleshooters. Hoppy in California had just entered the Mesa Junction Hotel and registered for a room when a man came rushing in saying that someone named Pete Foley was about to kill Wayne Carter. As the man spoke, a shot was heard, and Hoppy and the others raced to the saloon to find out what happened.
Can't see much for the people gathered round.
Now, let's shove through here. Come on, one side here.
Get out of the way and let us pass, Pete Foley. Wayne's done nothing to you.
Shut up, you. Might have known Carter'd hide behind your petticoats. I got a good mind.
You can't scare us, even if you do have a gun and Wayne doesn't.
Let us go, Foley. I don't want any trouble with you.
Listen to the dude. Should let you have it between the eyes instead of just shooting your hat off.
I'm surprised you didn't, you snaking coyote.
Why, I don't need no gun to take care of you.
Wayne, be careful.
See how you like this.
Hey, that Carter fella knows how to use his fists.
Yeah, you're doing all right.
Hit him, Wayne. Hit him.
Well, I'll be it. Carter knocked him flat. Hoppy, look.
I'll settle this my own way, Carter.
Hold it, fella. I wouldn't draw that gun if I were you.
You mind your business, cowboy.
I'm making this my business. Now get up and hit the road.
You can't tell me what...
Move.
Well, all right. I'll go for now. But don't think this is the end of things, Carter.
Oh, Wayne, are you all right?
Sure. I'm all right, Judy. Come on.
But aren't you going to thank the gentleman here? Foley might have shot you if he hadn't stepped in.
Thanks, cowboy.
No thanks necessary. I'd just like to see a man get a fair deal.
That's something Pete Foley doesn't believe in, Mr.
Cassidy.
Oh, thank you, Mr. Cassidy. We both appreciate your help.
Come along, Judy. Your father's waiting for us at his office.
All right. Goodbye, Mr. Cassidy.
Goodbye.
For a man who's almost been shot, Carter don't seem very grateful, does he?
Maybe he doesn't realize how close he came. If I were Carter, I'd steer clear of Foley from now on, or else start packing a 6-gun.
Carter pack a 6-gun? Oh, he's not the type for gunplay, I'm afraid. Well, I better get back to the hotel before somebody walks off with it.
That's a good idea. We'll go, too.
Hey, that did my heart good, seeing that Pete Foley put in his place there, Hoppy. I'm afraid it's like Pete told Carter. This won't be the end of it.
What seems to be their trouble? Fighting over the girl?
Oh, no. Judy Barton's going to marry Carter. No, the trouble's all because of business.
Business?
Yeah. You see, a few months ago, Judy's dad and Carter come here from the east, started up a cattle company. Now they're threatening to get too big to suit Jess Granger and his company.
Two cattle companies having a feud, huh?
Yeah, that's it. Granger was here first. Had things pretty much his own way until Barton and Carter come along.
Well, naturally, he just doesn't like the competition.
Can't blame him for that, I guess.
Well, no. Except when he hires a gunman like Pete Foley to try to scare the competition off. I'm afraid the trouble's going to wind up in the shooting feud before long.
Or can't the sheriff keep him under control?
It doesn't seem like he can. He's out of town half the time anyway.
I see.
Well, here we are. After you, gents.
Well, I didn't realize it was getting so late.
Oh, that clock's about 20 minutes fast. It's only about 2:30.
What difference does it make, Hoppy? We ain't going to try and do any business today, are we?
Sure we are. You seem to forget what Buck told us about getting back to the bar 20 as soon as we could.
Hey, let's see. I gave you the key, didn't I?
Yeah, I got it. Thanks. We'll see you later.
Ranger Cattle Company. Guess the place on down the street is Barton and Carter outfit, Hoppy, huh? Which one we going to do first?
Might as well stop here at Granger's. We'll find out what kind of a price he'll offer us and then check with Barton and Carter.
I wonder if that Foley feller's going to be inside.
We'll soon find out.
Told you that's not the way to handle a fellow like Carter. Shut up, Ranger. Look. Well, come in, gentlemen.
I hope we're not interrupting anything too important. Are you Jess Granger?
That's right.
This is the guy I was telling you about, boss.
Oh, I see.
Cassidy's my name, and this is...
Maybe I ought to take care of this hombre right now.
That'll do, Foley. You can leave now.
Oh, but
I said that'll do. I'll talk to you later.
All right.
Now, gents, what can I do for you?
We're from the bar 20, Granger. We're going to have about 400 head of cattle ready for market next month. The boss sent us to Mesa Junction to find out what kind of a price we could get.
Best I can do, Cassidy. I think you'll agree that's a fair price.
It doesn't sound too bad.
You want to just sign this agreement, the whole thing will be arranged.
I'm afraid we can't sign anything until we've checked in with the other cattle company, Granger.
Well, now, there's no need going to see that two-bit outfit. They can't better that price.
Just the same, we'll have to see what they offer.
All right. The chances are I'll take them over before you drive the cattle in anyway.
Supposing they don't agree to be took over.
Oh, they'll come around. I've made them a fair offer. And if old man Barton wasn't such a stupid fool, he'd see it's smarter to sell to me than be ruined eventually anyway.
Well, I'm not much of a businessman, but it looks to me like this town is big enough for two cattle companies.
It won't be big enough for several years yet, Cassidy. And since I was here first, Barton and Carter had better sell out to me, or else.
Ah, that's all between you and them, Granger. I'll let you know what we decide to do after we talk to them.
Well, sir, Judy told me when she and Wayne got back to the office what had happened, Cassidy. And I want to add my thanks to theirs.
That's all right, Mr. Barton. If I were Carter here, I think I'd start carrying some protection.
No. I refuse to carry a gun and ask for more trouble than we already have.
I agree with Wayne. It would only make matters worse, Mr. Cassidy.
You see, Cassidy, where we come from, people don't often settle their differences with bullets. As far as I'm concerned, I'd be all for getting out of this part of the country before someone's killed.
Now, let's don't have any more talk like that, Wayne.
It's all right, Dad. Wayne's upset over what happened. And Pete Foley gave him a terrible kick in the leg, which doesn't make him feel any better.
As a matter of fact, I think I'll go home and rest, Fred. I don't feel my best.
Sure, you go along. Oh, I'll look in on things tonight for you, too. Better stay off that leg for a day or so.
All right. Nice to see you again, Cassidy. Carlson.
Yeah, so long.
Take it easy, Carter.
I'll see you tomorrow, Judy.
All right, Wayne.
Now, gentlemen, shall we talk business?
That suits us fine.
Excuse me, Mr. Cassidy. Dad, I'd better run along myself. I promised you some fried chicken for supper, remember?
How could I forget? I wonder if Cassidy and Carlson here wouldn't like some good food for a change.
Why not ask them?
How about it, men? We could go into things more thoroughly after supper. Why don't you join us?
Well, that's mighty nice of you.
Yeah, sure is. And we'd be proud to accept, wouldn't we, Hoppy?
All right, then. We'll be there.
Good. I hope you won't be disappointed.
We'll be along in an hour or so, Judy. Judy's as good a cook as her mother was, and that's going some. Here, we'd best move away so she can clear the table now, though.
You fellers go on. I'll give Judy a hand.
Oh, thank you, California.
Oh, I didn't realize it was so late.
Seems to be dark outside already. Days are getting shorter and shorter.
I guess before we settle down, I'd better go check on the things at the stockyard, Hoppy.
Don't you have a night watchman down there?
Oh, yes, but we like to make sure he's on the job and everything's all right. Ordinarily, Wayne looks in on them about this time of night, but I told him I'd do it tonight.
Well, maybe a little fresh air would do California and me some good. Mind if we tag along?
I was just going to suggest it. We can talk some more on the way.
Good.
Sounds like you got a lot of cattle in these pens.
Only about 250 head right now, California.
Thank you, Mr. Barton.
Yes, it's all right, Jack.
I thought I recognized your voice.
Just checking up, Jack. Everything all right?
Quiet as anything.
Good. We'll just walk on down through the yard.
Okay, Mr. Barton. Watch out for the mud down by the watering trough.
We will. The lantern gives us enough light to see where we're going.
How often do you ship out of here, Barton?
Twice a week now. Train due in tomorrow to load these.
Twice a week? Say, you're getting good railroad service.
Mesa Junction's growing by leaps and bounds. Someday we'll be as big as Santa Fe or Tucson if it keeps up.
I hope you're right. It'd be a great thing for the ranchers in this part of the...
Ow! Barton! Hoppy! He's been shot.
Now, back to Hopalong Cassidy and our story, Cowtown Troubleshooters. Hoppy and California were in Mesa Junction to check on the possibilities of driving the Bar 20 cattle to that town for sale to one of the two cattle buying companies. They discovered a feud between the two companies existed, and that night, while with Fred Barton at the Barton Carter stockyard, someone hiding in the dark near one of the cattle pens fired a shot which hit the older partner.
There's a couch in the back office. We can put him on that.
Sure. I'm afraid he's hit pretty bad.
What happened to the other fellow that was
He
with
went
you?
after the coyote that shot your bossy.
Here we are now. Easy.
There. He's plumb unconscious. Where can we find a doctor?
Doc Miller lives about a half mile or so from here. I'll saddle up and get him.
How is he, California?
He's in bad shape, I'm afeard. Did you see any signs of the fellow that shot him?
No, whoever did it got away before I could get close.
I'm going after Doc Miller. Keep an eye on things till I get back, will you please?
You better get word to Barton's daughter and his partner after you send the doctor over.
Yeah, I'll tell him to come right over.
I wonder how he's making out by now, Hoppy.
I don't know. That wound was mighty close to the heart.
Yeah.
Where is he? In the other office?
Yeah.
Oh, this is awful. Cassidy, does Judy know what's happened?
She's in there with her dad and the doctor now.
How is Fred?
We don't know yet. You better sit down. Maybe a long wait.
I was afraid something like this would happen. Granger will stop at nothing, even if he has to hire someone to kill.
I thought Pete Foley was after you instead of Barton.
He probably mistook Barton for me. Ordinarily, I'm the one that checks on things here in the evening. Fred just took my place tonight.
That's right, isn't it? Someone hiding and waiting to take a shot at you couldn't tell the difference in the dim light of a lantern.
No, and if Fred dies, even though we know who's responsible, how can we prove it?
That may be tough to do. Let's get down by that pen where your partner shot and see if we can find anything interesting.
All right, but I doubt if we'll find anything that'll help.
Never can tell. Might be worth a try, huh, Hoppy?
That's right. There's always a chance. Come on. Hold the lantern over here a little closer, California.
Sure. You think the shot came from about here?
It looked that way to me. I saw the muzzle flash, and as near as I could tell, the gunman must have been standing with the corner of that pen there, the water trough.
Well, that sounds logical. It'd be a good hiding place, all right.
Look here. Wait a minute. In the mud here.
By golly, a good, clear footprint.
Let me see.
California, there's a shovel by the feed trough over there. Get it, will you?
Sure. Here, you take the lantern.
What are you going to do, Hoppy?
Take out this slab of mud and save the footprint. Ground's mostly clay, and we can bake it and have a good mold.
Of course. And then find the boots that fit the mold.
Here's the shovel, Hoppy.
Wait, listen.
What's the matter, Carter?
I heard a noise over by that other pen. Someone's been watching us.
Huh? What kind of a noise?
Sounded like a board cracking. Whoever it was must have climbed over the fence and disappeared.
No use going after him. I tried that without any luck after Barton was shot.
Let's get out of here. Standing by this lantern makes us perfect targets.
All right. As soon as I get this footprint, we'll go back to the office.
doctor's still working on him, but he thinks there's a chance he'll live.
There, my dear. Of course he'll live.
Oh, Wayne, how could anyone be so low as to shoot Dad?
Please, Judy, don't think about it.
Oh, you were right. We should have sold the company to Granger and gone back to the East.
Excuse me, Miss Judy. Don't judge the West by one town or the people by one or two men.
I'm sorry, Hoppy. I didn't mean it that way, but...
We understand, ma'am, but we're going to do everything we can to see that whoever shot your dad is rounded up.
I appreciate your help, but what can you do?
We've got a footprint that we're sure was left with the man who shot him. We'll turn it over to the sheriff and then try to find the boots that fit it.
Hey, I wonder if the sheriff's got back to town by now.
I doubt it. He spends more time out at Johnson's ranch than at his office.
Well, we're trying to locate him. In the meantime, we'll keep the footprint. It's our only clue. Story, Sheriff, as far as it goes.
Yeah, you sure missed a lot of excitement.
Yeah, I guess I did. I'm sorry you fellas had so much trouble finding me tonight, too, but there was a fracas over at the saloon.
So we heard.
Now, that footprint you got, what'd you do with it?
Oh, it's in our room at the hotel. When we didn't find you here in the office, when we first came by, we figured we'd better take care of it ourselves.
Good. Well, gents, I reckon I better go out to the Barton Carter place and see how Fred Barton's making out. You say his partner and his daughter are there with him?
That's right, Sheriff. The doctor was still working on him when we left.
Well, if he regains consciousness, I ought to be on hand to ask him some questions.
I'm afraid it may be quite a while before he can do much talking, Sheriff.
There may be. But I'll go on out and look around anyway. You fellas might as well go on back and get some sleep. I'll send for you if I want you.
That old bed's going to feel mighty good to me, Hoppy. This has turned into a pretty long day.
I could use a little shut-eye myself. But I wish we could figure... Wait a minute.
What's the matter, Hoppy?
Look, that light coming to the door to our room.
Hey, did we go off and leave the lamp burning?
No. Looks like we got company.
The footprint. Somebody must have been trying to find out where we hid it.
Yeah.
Carter must have been right. There was somebody watching while we was getting it. What are we going to do?
Get on the other side of the doorway. The light just went off. Whoever's in there's coming out. Stand where you are. Don't reach for that.
Well, if it ain't Pete Foley.
I ain't done nothing. Let me go.
Hoppy, he's got a footprint.
That's right, and I aimed to keep it.
No, look out!
Look, don't, Foley. Grab it.
I got it, Hoppy.
All right, Foley. On your feet.
He almost stomped in the footprint.
Come on. Inside here.
I'll light the lamp here, huh?
Listen, if you let me go.
Hold it, Foley. You're not going anywhere.
There. Well, so you're the varmint that tried to kill Fred Barton, huh?
Oh, I never shot Barton, I swear.
You seem mighty interested in getting that footprint.
Well, I had to. I was ordered to get it.
Ordered to get it? Who ordered you to do it?
Granger, my boss.
Granger? Do you believe him, Hoppy?
I don't know yet.
We better turn him over to the sheriff.
That's just what we're going to do.
I forgot. The sheriff's out at the Barton Carter cattle yard.
That's where we're taking Foley, and on the way, we'll stop and get Jess Granger, too.
Now, see here, Sheriff. You've no right to hold me here. I've done nothing.
Simmer down, Granger. According to Pete here, you sent him a note ordering him to get that footprint.
That's a lie.
It ain't either a lie. Your name was signed to it, Granger.
Where's the note now?
I burned it. That was part of the instructions on it.
How'd this note reach you, Foley?
I was home asleep. I woke up when I heard somebody pound on the door. When I got up and went to see who it was, all I found was a note slipped under the door.
He's lying, trying to throw the blame on me. He can't prove a word of what he says.
Both of you have made trouble for Barton and Carter, so it could have been either one of you, I reckon.
If you ask me, they're both equally guilty, Sheriff.
I wasn't asking you, Carter. We'll get to the right man, don't you worry.
Foley, This note you keep talking about, what kind of paper was it written on?
Just ordinary tablet paper like you see everywhere.
Did you recognize the handwriting?
Well, I ain't seen much of Granger's writing, but near as I could tell, it looked like his. But he signed his name.
I tell you, he's lying. I didn't send him any such note.
You know, Sheriff, there's a chance Granger and Foley might both be telling the truth.
Huh?
Suppose neither one of them shot Barton, and whoever did it was trying to lay the blame on him.
But, Hoppy, who else would want to murder Dad?
Or me. Remember, whoever fired that shot thought they were shooting at me.
I wonder. By the way, were you here all the time after California and I left to find the sheriff?
Why, yes.
Except for a half hour or so. Wayne went home to get some coffee. Why, Hoppy?
I noticed he changed his boots. Were the other ones uncomfortable, Carter?
Why...
Hoppy, are you trying to say you think Wayne had something to do with this?
That's ridiculous.
I'm just trying to think of all the angles, Miss Judy. If your dad were out of the way and you married Carter, he'd wind up in control of the whole company. Then he could sell out and go back east.
See here, Cassidy, this has gone about far enough.
I'm afraid you're getting in pretty deep here, Cassidy. What have you got to go on?
Just a shot in the dark, Sheriff. But if Carter went home for coffee, he could have left a note at Foley's house. And the reason I think he might have done just that is because something's missing from the top of his desk.
What? What's missing?
An ordinary tablet. It was there when we left, and now it's gone.
That's a lie.
California, take a look through those desk drawers.
Sure, Hoppy.
You've no right to snoop around my desk.
Well, here's your tablet.
That don't prove anything, Cassidy.
Not yet, it doesn't. But the habit most businessmen have of writing something and then tearing the sheet loose from the tablet might prove plenty. Give me that pencil, too, California.
Yeah, here you are.
What are you going to do?
By laying the pencil down so the lead is flat against the tablet and then shading it back and forth, we'll see what happens.
Look, whatever was written on the sheet before this one is showing up.
Wayne, it says...
I know what it says. Get your hands up, all of you.
Wayne!
He's got a gun!
Drop it, Carter!
Hop in! Out!
Now, back to Hopalong Cassidy.
Yeah, that was a mighty fast draw, Cassidy.
Sure was. Shot the gun clean out of Carter's hand.
You know, I feel sorry for Judy, though. She's pretty stunned by the whole thing.
Yeah, but it's lucky she found out what kind of a fella Carter was before she married him.
Yeah.
I thought you men would like to know. Dad is conscious now. I think he's going to be all right.
Oh, that's good news, Miss Judy.
Hoppy, I want to thank you for what you've done.
Judy, you don't owe us any thanks at all.
It's hard to believe Wayne would do what he did.
And now, Miss Judy, you got to start right now, forgetting all about him. You're going to be busy running things here until your dad's up and around again. You know that.
I know, and I'm frightened at the thought.
Miss Judy, you won't have anything to worry about from my company. In fact, if your dad's agreeable, we might be able to work out a fair plan for consolidation.
Oh, that would be wonderful, Mr. Granger.
Well, consolidated or not, you can be sure of one good customer, Miss Judy.
You mean the Bar 20?
Right. And you'd better get things organized, because we'll be back next month with 400 head of the best beef cattle in the West.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's no bull.
California.
When Hoppy plays detective, he finds the guilty man and saves the town from having a deadly feud after he and California act as Cowtown troubleshooters. Another thrilling adventure is in store for you next time with Hoppy and California, and a surprise for all. Be sure to listen. Hopalong Cassidy, starring William Boyd, is transcribed and produced in the West by Walter White, Jr. Cowtown Troubleshooters was written by Robert T. Smith, with original music under the personal direction of Albert Glasser. All stories are based on the characters created by Clarence E. Mulford. This is a Commodore production. With action and suspense out of the Old West comes the most famous hero of them all, Hopalong Cassidy, starring William Boyd. The ring of the silver spurs heralds the most amazing man ever to ride the prairies of the early West. Hopalong Cassidy, the same Hoppy you cheer in motion pictures, and the same California you've laughed at a million times. Raw courage and quick shooting have built a legend around this famous hero. Hopalong is a name to be feared, respected, and admired, for this great cowboy rides the trails of adventure and excitement. William Boyd as Hopalong Cassidy, and Andy Clyde as California. What's our story this time, Hoppy?
This one we call Stampede at Semple's Crossing. And it started during a cattle drive with the Bar 20 pushing 2,000 head north for railroad shipment. We've been on the trail 15 days and had just reached Semple's Crossing, where you always hold up overnight before fording the river. At the same time, another herd pulled in from the west, a herd much bigger than ours. We had both arrived at practically the same time, which meant trouble. And that night in the Silver Spur Saloon, trouble started.
Here we go, Hoppy. Here comes Reb Moran, breathing fire out of both ears.
Yeah, sure enough. Hi, Reb. Here you're the new trail boss for the Lazy J.
That's right, Cassidy. I'm the new trail boss. And I figure you and me ought to settle this thing about crossing the ford tomorrow.
You mean about who goes first? No question about that, is there? Bar 20 arrived first.
Yeah, not so as anybody would notice it. I had a man waiting there an hour before your beef pulled in.
A man doesn't count, Reb. It's who gets cattle there first.
Not the way I figured, Cassidy.
Then you and I don't figure it alike.
I never expected we would. But I expect to put Lazy J beef into that river first thing tomorrow morning.
You've had a few drinks too many, Reb. Sleep 'em off and we'll talk about it tomorrow.
We'll talk about it right now. I'll tell you what I'll do, Cassidy. I'll fight you for it. Best man gets to take his herd across first. But we fight with our hands, not with our irons.
Look, Moran, tomorrow's going to be a big day for both of us. Why don't you head for your blanket roll and turn in?
Oh, what's the matter, Cassidy? You scared? I always heard you was a fancy man with your fists. But with me, you gotta prove it.
Sorry, Moran, but I'm not going to take you on for a stupid reason like this.
But you gotta take me on, Cassidy. You can't help yourself.
No? And why not?
You left just a couple of riders with your herd, didn't you?
That's right.
Well, I had some of my boys rope and hog tie 'em.
You what?
Yeah, and my boys are caring for that Bar 20 beef right now. And if they hear 3 quick shots from out of this place, they know just what to do.
Just what would they do, Reb?
Stampede that herd of yours. Yeah. So it's up to you, Cassidy. Either you fight me to see who crosses the river first, or you get them Bar 20 steers scattered clear from here to the Continental Divide.
Now, back to Hopalong Cassidy and our story, Stampede at Semple's Crossing. With the Bar 20 trail herd reaching an important river crossing almost at the same time as another herd, trouble has developed. Reb Moran, hard-drinking trail boss of the Lazy J, has just challenged Hoppy to a fist fight to decide which outfit will ford the stream first. Hoppy is trying to avoid the fight, but Moran has set things up so that Hoppy must fight or have his herd stampeded all over the countryside.
This is kid stuff, Reb. You've just been promoted and it's gone to your head. You figure I've got a little reputation and you'd like to get fat off of it by knocking me around. Just kid stuff, Reb.
Yeah, come on, Cassidy. Do you fight it or them steers of yours start running?
All right. That's the way you have to play, but it's got to be just between you and me.
What's the matter, Cassidy? Your riders all yellow, too?
Who are you?
I'm Gillis, Reb's foreman. And I'm willing to stack the Lazy J against your outfit all the way.
I'm sure you would, considering you outnumber us at least 2 to 1. I'll say this again, Reb. The fight has to be just between you and me, or I'm not taking off these guns.
I don't figure your guns are so tough either, Cassidy. Let him make something out of it, Reb. With his guns if he wants to.
Now, hold it. Let's just keep it a fist fight. All right, Cassidy, it's just between me and you. So take off your guns.
And whoever wins has the undisputed right to take his herd across the river first. That's also agreed, Reb?
That's the whole idea, Cassidy.
All right. I'll take off the gun.
Hello, eh? Wouldn't want to make any bets on this, would you, Cassidy?
No bets, Reb. You're forcing the fight on me, and that's enough.
Yeah. Anybody else want to bet?
Put your money where your mouth is, Moran. I got $50 to back Hoppy.
I got $50 to bet on Hopalong Cassidy, too.
I'll cover that. Yeah, that's right, boys. Get your bets down. It's going to be a big evening for the Lazy J. All right, come on, Cassidy. Get your hands up.
Crowd 'em, Reb. Get 'em fast.
Just what I aim to do. Try this one, Cassidy. Ought to be just your size. Oh, fuck.
Not bad, Reb, but a little high. I felt it, though.
And you're going to feel this one. Oh!
I felt that one, too, Reb. Right up to my wrist. Care to get up? Then we can both try again.
I'm getting up. And you're going down.
It'll always be the same, Moran, even if you used an axe. Hey, can you hear me, Moran? Doggone, he's colder than a panhandle winter.
Give me a hand, California. We'll get him up.
No, I don't need any help. I'll be all right.
I guess this settles things, doesn't it, Reb?
Huh? Yeah. Yeah, it settles things. Your outfit crosses the river first. Now I'm getting out of here.
Nobody'd ever know you'd been in a scuffle, Hoppy. You don't show a mark.
It's a great fight, Mr. Cassidy. Won me $50. My name is Clark, Mr. Cassidy, Tippy Clark. And I sure am proud to know you.
Wait a minute. If this is the first you've known me, how did you happen to bet on me?
Because he's a white-livered stable tramp, and we ought to hang him upside down the doorway.
Now, wait a minute, Pharaoh. I didn't do anything to you.
You bet against us, and I'm going to...
Oh, no.
Don't follow him, Pharaoh. Let him alone.
You don't think you're going to walk out of here top dog, do you, Cassidy? Nobody ever beats the Lazy J for keeps. And there's 12 of us here to prove it.
12 of them. 5 of us from the bar 20. That calls for more than a rabbit spook.
Move in, boys. We're going to clean out this place.
Hold it, you man. Hold it. Hold it, I said. This is a 45 I'm holding, and I'm pretty good with it. And the man alongside me is a lot better with his. Maybe all you gents don't know him. His name is Silent Jim Reed, and he happens to be marshal of this town. And I happen to be his deputy. You ought to know better than to make trouble, Pharaoh. You used to live here.
I figure this to be our own fight, Gleason.
That's all right, so long as it's just a couple of you. But when it comes to wrecking buildings with one of your range brawls, well, that's where we take over. We're taking you in, Pharaoh.
Oh, you are?
Yeah, you and this Cassidy. And maybe we'll have peace in town tonight.
That's all right with me, Deputy.
Head for the door, Pharaoh.
My outfit ain't gonna take this, Gleason.
Your outfit will take it and like it.
I won't like it.
I'm not gonna have this town turned upside down just because you fellas lost a fight and a few bets.
That's what you think.
Push that door open, Cassidy. After you, Marshal. All right. Now you, Pharaoh. And don't try...
They come from across the street. Hoppy, you hit.
I got a slug through the arm. Outside of that, I'm all right. But the town marshal wasn't so lucky. Looks as though he's dying. Got it out yet, Doc?
Oh, yeah, it's out. You sure can take it, Cassidy. 38 slug could be mighty painful.
I'm much obliged to you, Doctor. Will it be all right if I get down off this bar now?
Oh, you better lie still a few more minutes, Cassidy. You're going to be a lot weaker than you think. Oh? Oh, yes, Tippy. What is it?
The marshal's Silent Jim. He's still lying out there.
Yeah, well, he's dead, Tippy. Lying out there isn't going to hurt him now.
He didn't die right away, though.
No, it took him about 20 minutes.
Oh, sure, a tough way to go. If a man can't die in bed, it seems like somebody ought to get his boots off for him. Why didn't somebody get the marshal's boots off?
Why don't you go get 'em off, Tippy? Stuff the toes good and they just about be your size.
Oh, but did you see anyone fire those shots as you stepped outside, Cassidy?
Sorry, Gleason. It was pretty dark out there.
Yeah, but don't take a mind reader to figure who was on the other end of that gun.
What are you thinking, Gleason?
Well, Cassidy, you whipped that fire-eating trail boss of the Lazy J here tonight, Reb Moran. Moran was out of this place when the shooting happened.
So that's who you think it was?
Yep. I figured he couldn't take the whipping and stood out there waiting for you to show. Probably so riled up that he just let fire at everybody who stepped through the doorway.
All right, Gleason, but what are you going to do about it?
Well, Doc, I guess we'll have to try to bring Moran in. That might be quite a job. With Silent Jim gone, things around Semple's Crossing are liable to get pretty rough.
Nothing like sleeping in a hotel for a good night's rest. How's the arm feel this morning, Hoppy?
It's kind of stiff. I guess I'll be able to get around all right.
We gonna swim them steers across that stream this morning or this afternoon? I'll get it. Oh, it's you, Doc. Come on in.
Yeah, thought I'd better stop by, have another look at that arm of yours, Cassidy.
Doesn't feel too bad, Doc.
Yeah, just the same, I better dress it for you. I do you expect to take them cattle of yours away from here?
Oh, maybe not for several days. I've been thinking about Reb Moran. He's a fire eater, and he likes nothing better than a brawl. I find it hard to believe he'd bushwhack anybody from a dark doorway.
Oh?
After what happened last night, I'd sort of feel responsible if he had to hang for a killing he didn't do.
Yeah, well, it'll be a lot better for that arm if you could rest a few days. Mind if I throw up this window shade and need more light to dress that wall?
Go ahead.
Look at that sun beating down out there. And it's 6 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah, is that what time it is? I wouldn't know. What with another shooting and a knifing and breaking the news of Silent Jim Reed's death to his widow, I've been up all night.
Never can tell, can you, Doc? There probably wasn't a bad man in this territory who couldn't beat Silent Jim in a fair fight. And then Silent Jim has to get it by accident.
Yeah. I'm afraid that when Silent Jim was killed, there went the law and order in this town. Ben Gleason been a good deputy, but he's not the one for handling the trouble we get here. Oh, that hurt, Cassidy?
A little, but don't worry about it.
Sure is going to be a hot day. You can see the heat coming up from the ground right now. There's a couple of little kids playing out in the street already, too. Doc, how about Reb Moran? Anybody know where he is?
No sign of him in town. Gleason rounded up posse, went out to find him and bring him in.
That might be a rough job against all those Lazy J riders.
That's what I told Gleason. So he rounded up his posse without too much fuss and got out of here in the dark, just after 3 o'clock.
He didn't lose much time.
Figured most of the Lazy J hands might still be hanging around the saloon. I hope it works out that way. I feel I've had enough bloodshed around here for 24 hours. Now, how does that feel, Cassidy?
Feels fine, Doc. It's nice and snug. Hey, what's that noise?
Sounds like an earthquake. Wait a second. I'll get this window up. It's coming from the river crossing. Hoppy, it's them steers of ours stampeding. And they were coming this way right through town with them little kids in the street.
Now, back to Hopalong Cassidy and our story, Stampede at Semple's Crossing. Trouble has broken out at Semple's Crossing. Hoppy has won the fight forced upon him by Reb Moran, trail boss of the Lazy J, to determine who should ford the river first. But as an aftermath, Silent Jim Reed, marshal of Semple's Crossing, is killed by gunfire. With suspicion and tension riding the area, someone has stampeded the Bar 20 steers right into the main street of town.
Them kids, Hoppy, they're too scared to get out of the way.
You grab one, I'll take the other. Come on.
Go. That was a close one. There was... Hey, Hoppy, where are you?
Hebrew, California, I saw a ball right in front of them steers.
Hell, when? Where? There's dust. I can't see nothing.
He was trying to pick up that kid.
Here, take the gun. I gotta know what happened. That doggone dust. Hoppy, where are you?
Right here, California. You all right?
Yes, sure. I'll try to be scared, petrified. I'm all right. But you You fell down?
Yeah, this arm went back on me when I was lifting a youngster. We got out of the way, both of us.
Whew! What a scramble that was. And them steers of ours, Hoppy, scattered all over the countryside. Take us a week to round them up.
Never mind. Those 2 kids are all right anyway.
But what about the herd? We ain't gonna take it lying down, are we?
Not if we can find out who did it.
That lazy J outfit did it.
Maybe. But that's something for us to find out for sure. Sounds like you're in a hurry, Gleason.
Who's that? Oh, it's you, Cassidy.
Yeah, couldn't sleep, so I'm out here trying to catch a little breeze.
How's the arm?
It doesn't like what happened. Keeps letting me know it.
A lot of pain, the wound like that. Just brought Reb Moran in, he and the posse.
Yeah, where'd you find him?
Oh, we looked all day for him and then found him on our way back to town, still sleeping off his drunk under a spring wagon. No trouble taking him. Didn't act like he knew what it was all about.
Do you think he's guilty, Gleason?
Oh, who knows? I'm never sure when a man's guilty. Not unless I see him do something. There's a lot of other people around here think he's guilty, though. Want to give him a quick trial, a quick sentence. Where are all your boys, Cassidy?
Out rounding up cattle. We had a stampede here today.
Yeah, I heard. You think Moran might have caused that, too?
Oh, I don't know.
I don't know either. I don't know anything about all this. But we came on to something funny out there today.
Yeah, what was that?
A couple of steers wearing new red-hot brands.
Yeah?
Mm-hmm. A real new brand for these parts. A Lazy B.
Lazy B? Hey, you could dress up a Lazy J to look like that without any trouble at all.
That's right. That's the way I figured. Without any trouble at all. You feel like talking to Reb Moran, Cassidy?
I wouldn't mind.
Come on, then. I got him where he's got more time for talk than anything else. Got Hopalong Cassidy here, Moran. Says he'd like to talk to you.
He thinks I tried to gun him down. We got nothing to talk about.
I'm not passing judgment on you, Reb.
I'd never gun a man down that way if I was drunk or sober. You whipped me fair and square, and that was enough for me.
How about stampeding my cattle, Reb?
What? Don't know nothing about that either.
You said you're going to.
Said I was going to if you wouldn't fight. Anyway, a man says lots of things when he's liquored up. Don't mean he's going to do them.
Well, lots of folks around here think that you gunned down Silent Jim Reed, Reb. They think you tried for Cassidy and got the marshal instead.
Not me. I might have had a few drinks. I'd never pull anything like that.
Folks are going to put you on trial for it, just the same.
Well, how can they prove it? Somebody'd have to see me do a thing like that to prove it.
Well, you better pray that nobody says they did see you. Because if somebody does that, you're going to hang.
Hang?
That's right.
Me?
Yep. Come on, Cassidy. Time we got out of here.
No, wait a minute, Cassidy. Wait a minute. You ain't going to let him do that to me, are you? You know me from way back in Laredo. You know I wouldn't dry gulch anybody. You know that, don't you, Cassidy?
Yeah, Reb, I guess I do know it. And if I can, I'll help you.
Cassidy, if I was you, I'd forget what you said about trying to help Moran.
Why?
Well, there's some folks in this town that wouldn't like it. They're mighty tough folks. People that could cause you all kinds of trouble.
Gleason, I think you're being honest about this trouble. I think you're being honest because you told me that stuff about the brands. But when it comes to Reb Moran, I'm not taking your advice. See you later.
Mr. Cassidy.
Who is it?
It's me, Tippy Clark.
What do you want, Tippy?
I think there's going to be more trouble in this town, Mr. Cassidy. I get around and I hear things, and I think there's going to be more trouble. Maybe with men lying in the street and dying with their boots on. I've seen a lot of it here, and I always get to thinking it could be me.
Well, you don't have to look at him, Tippy.
Well, I guess I can't help looking, and I guess I can't...
What's the matter, Tippy?
I thought I saw something in the shadow there. Something... Mr. Cassidy!
That's better. How's your head feel?
No, I don't know. Pick it up and hand it to me, will you?
Oh, no kidding, though. How do you feel?
Oh, I'm all right, California. Where did you come from?
Got here just after them fellers jumped you. They vamoosed when I started shooting at 'em.
Where's Tippy?
I don't know. If he was with you, he ain't around now. Now, listen. Before we do any more gabbing, we better get you over to the doc's place. That gash under your eye needs some help. Come on, I'll help you.
Hello, Cassidy. What are you doing here?
Oh, it's you, Gleason. I came over to have my face patched up.
Yeah? Well, looks like you'll have to wait your turn. Tippy Clark's in there.
Tippy?
Doc says he's dying of a slug through the chest. Sent for me to take a statement from him. Come on in. You two can be witnesses.
Yeah. Tippy.
Mr. Cassidy?
Better stay by the door, Cassidy. He needs air.
Pharaoh Gillis. How do you fit in this picture?
I'm the one who carried Tippy over here. That's how I fit in.
Hold him up a little higher, Pharaoh, or he'll cough his life out before he can say 2 words. Gleason, you better get your statement in a hurry. This man is dying.
All right, Doc. What do you want to say, Tippy?
I want to say I know who killed Silent Jim Reed and shot Mr. Cassidy last night. I saw what happened when I went outside. It was Reb Moran. He was standing in the doorway across the street. Lift me up a little higher, Pharaoh. One of my spurs is caught in the couch.
That all you got to say, Tippy?
That's all, Mr. Gleason.
I guess that settles our case, then. I'll get the judge to bring Moran to trial in the morning.
Before you go, Gleason, I'd like to ask a question.
What?
I'd like to know how you'd go about rustling an entire herd of 5,000 cattle.
What are you talking about, Cassidy?
I've decided that the surest way of doing it would be to wait until it was being moved to market, far away from its home ranch. Then it wouldn't be too hard if the trail boss was moved out of the way. And if the foreman and maybe half the men were in cahoots.
Wait a minute, Cassidy. Now you're talking about me.
That's right, Pharaoh. But I'm not talking about you alone. Am I, Dr. Bradhurst?
What do you mean, Cassidy?
I mean, you're the brains behind all this. And that's why you wanted Silent Jim Reed out of the way. Because you knew he might be too smart for what you were trying to do. So you killed Silent Jim and tied it to Reb Moran.
Hoppy, and that's why they stampeded our beef, to keep you out of the picture, huh?
You sure you ain't making a big mistake, Cassidy? Doc Bradhurst?
Doc Bradhurst and his Lazy Bee brand, his new and very personal brand.
But, Cassidy, 5,000 head.
Oh, they might not taken all of them. They'd have left maybe 500 or 600. Blamed the big loss on trouble here and on the trail. It was quite a plan, Doctor. But you're not going to be able to make it stick.
You can't prove any of this, Cassidy.
I can prove you said Tippy Clark was dying when he wasn't. And if we can find that branding iron of yours, maybe by searching this house...
Shut up, Cassidy. One more word and this 45 puts your lights out. You too, Gleason. Don't make a move.
Afraid you made a mistake with that move, Pharaoh. Now Tippy's going to be able to talk. Aren't you, Tippy?
Yes. They wanted to be sure Reb Moran would be convicted.
Shut up, you.
Don't mind him, Tippy. He has to keep the gun on us.
So they made me say I saw Reb Moran kill Silent Jim. Pharaoh kept holding a knife against my back all the time. If I'd have said a wrong word, I was going to get it.
Looks as though you're going to have to use that gun on him, Pharaoh.
Yeah, and I'm going to start in with this squawking little polecat.
Now, back to Hopalong Cassidy.
This town. If it ain't dust, it's gun smoke.
You all right, California? You, Gleason?
No, we're all right, but Pharaoh's down, and the doc's got a hand that'll never be the same.
I'll never know how you beat Pharaoh's bullets, Cassidy, and I'll never know how you drew that fast. Banged up the way you are.
I guess I got tired of being banged up. These two are all yours now, Gleason.
And I'll let them change places with Reb Moran. But first, I'd like to know how you figured out this play the Doc was making.
I'd like to know that myself, Hoppy. How are we so sure the Doc was lying about Tippy?
Well, according to the doctor, Tippy was supposed to be making a deathbed statement. But the minute I saw Tippy on that couch, I knew he couldn't be dying.
No? Well, why not?
Tippy was conscious and able to speak, and Tippy was wearing his boots. That was why I knew the doc was lying. If Tippy had known he was going to die, he certainly would have asked one of us to take his boots off. Because Tippy has more fear of dying with his boots on than any man I ever met.
I'll be a low-coach sidewinder. This is one story we can all get a boot out of.
California?
I mean it. The Doc and Farrow figured to make quite a killing, but they come to find out that the boot was on the other foot.
And the boot hurt, didn't it?
Yes, sir.
The old adage that he died with his boots on surely tripped up the guilty ones in this Hoppy adventure. There's one thing certain when you follow the adventures of Hoppy and his pal California. Plenty of action and excitement every time. So don't miss Hopalong Cassidy's next action-packed story. Hoppy and California mix it up plenty, and that's a promise. Hopalong Cassidy, starring William Boyd, is transcribed and produced in the West by Walter White, Jr. Stampede at Semple's Crossing was written by Buckley Angel, with original music under the personal direction of Albert Glasser. All stories are based upon the characters created by Clarence E. Mulford. This is a Commodore production.
Thank you for listening. Please like and subscribe.